These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. How the fuck's that even happen? We're two grown men on a mission now, so buckle up and just strap in.
Tea's gone cold, I wonder why. Got out of bed at all. Morning rain clouds up my window, and I can't see it all.
These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. It's America's barley basket.
Welcome everyone to episode 31 of America's Barley Basket. I am your host Marlin Wells, alongside host Nathan Folsabach. Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Marlin.
How are ya?
I am just, man, cuckoo bird times we're living in, but I got multiple beverages like I try to do. I want all my beverage bases covered. I got hot, I got cold, I got thick, I got a little protein action here, so cookies and cream flavor because I like it a little sweet. I'm a little sweet boy, Marlin.
I know it.
Yeah. Like a little sweet treat now and then. Very decadent.
I am just rolling with a jug of water.
Look at this guy, health nut over here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Staying hydrated. I ain't looking to be no dry boy.
Yeah. Our fans wouldn't want it.
No, our fans demand I be moist, so...
They want us moist and all gassed up, full of beans.
I would consider myself, yes, full of beans. I got most of my vitriol against the fucking events of earlier this week out of my system, recording a different podcast later on this morning, so...
Oh, well, there we go.
I got most of that hatred exercised.
No hot political takes here.
It'll bubble up.
Yeah.
The hatred bladder always refills.
Yeah.
With these fucking people. Anyway, I'm going to strap on my best buffalo hat and go ruin someone else's fucking day.
Oh, yeah. Ruin a good buffalo hat, too. That's the shame of it. That's the real victim here.
Yeah, motherfucker really aped my style. He co-opted it. Now I can't do it anymore. These fucking mouth... Anyway, we have some Simpsons going right now.
Fuck yeah, we do.
We are wrapping up season 7 today, Nathan. And moving into season 8 as well.
Just pushing through the cream of the Simpson crop. We're watching the episodes. We're giving hot takes. We're giving America what they need.
Mm-hmm. In these times...
In these trying times.
These uncertain, tumultuous times.
Mm-hmm.
We, like a lighthouse, will always be here to guide you back to the Simpsons.
A beacon of giggles.
For hope. And giggles.
And giggles. And lots of winded mouth breathing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes we giggle too much.
Well, and, we get amped up and we get to talking real fast. And frankly, sometimes talking real fast gets you winded.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a sad reality of life.
Yeah. Cardio is important, is I think what we're trying to say here.
That's what I keep hearing. I have never been one for cardio. Even in my youth, I was not much of an endurance fella.
Yeah. Like a grizzly bear, you're faster than a racehorse 40 yards or less.
40 feet or less, probably.
Tuck her out and want to lay on your side and eat berries and acorns.
And I do. Yeah. That is usually my go-to.
Raw fish.
Once I've been outrun, I lay on my side and take the trail mix from my pocket.
Just scatter it on the ground and just nibble it off.
Yep.
That was precisely. A cricket. That was a cricket.
Oh, no. I thought it was a raisin. It wasn't a raisin, guys.
Raisins don't move.
Guys, not a raisin.
There's nobody around. You're still announcing it.
Oh, this trail mix, it's just M&M's. Like, I took all the other shit out. It's just M&M's. That's good trail mix.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to The Simpsons, they do things. Sometimes fathers try to bond with their children over the love of music. So,
it happens.
Homer is in charge of driving the children to school. They have to carpool with, I believe, is it Nelson, Milhouse, and is Martin in the car too?
I'm not sure if it's Martin. I guess I didn't pay that close attention.
At least Nelson and Milhouse. And Homer embarrasses Lisa and Bart when he starts discussing his love of rock music, because it's all late 70s, kind of Grand Funk Railroad Super Tramp type. Like, I blend so many of those bands together in my head. They don't do a lot for me. I've never done a deep dive in any of them, but yeah, like, but which I like, the kids think it's, as someone that grew up around that same era, I can tell you there's more embarrassing things than your parents to listen to. Like,
oh, for fucking sure.
Grand Funk Railroad is a rock band. Like, it's, they could just be listening to like Porter Wagner, like just some dehydrated middle-aged country singer, like, which I mean I love now, but when you're 12 you think is pretty lame. Like,
yeah, when I'm spending my own free time listening to Rob Zombie, and then you get in the chore pickup and your dad's listening to fucking Hank Williams 1. It's like, no, not into this. Now
you realize, that like that stuff's solid gold, but back then, it's like we were discussing country singers, like middle-aged 70s era country singers, like some of them I was just thinking are like the human embodiment of cigarette smoke. Like, if you could make a person out of cigarette smoke, they would be 1981 Porter Wagner.
Yeah.
Just real smoky.
God,
in all the bad ways.
I think back to any of that era country, and I just think of like the bad, like, pompadour perms of Conway Twitty. Like, he's just fucking sweaty with his god-awful disco suit. Like, God, was country music bad for a long time.
Pum-pum-pum-pum. Just cringe vibes. I have learned to really love Hello Darlin'. That's a song I enjoy.
You're alone in that.
It doesn't get the dance floor.
Oh,
man, that's a good old country weeper if I've ever heard one.
Ugh. No, not my vibe. My country tastes are super specific.
And it's funny, too, that like all the work put into the hair, the spray tan, the outrageous drag show level sequined outfits, yet don't own a toothbrush, apparently. That's not a thing they think about, like going for the charcoal briquette look in the mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, curious.
Oh, they're all so greasy. Oh, I just... Oh. And the music's no good. It would be one thing if, like, boy, that guy looks like shit, but he is really killing it. No, not at all.
See, I probably enjoy more of it than you do, but yeah, there's some unfortunate acts in that era.
And it's real unfortunate because most of them, like, used to be good. But, then had to follow along with the trend.
Yep.
Like, there's some fucking Johnny Cash stuff in the 70s and 80s that is flat out fucking awful for a
Johnny
long
Cash
time
in the 80s
there.
Was struggling.
Yeah.
Just trying to stay relevant. Tons of just fucking jingoistic patriotism by numbers song. Like, America, why I love her. And just, like, just struggling, man. And then... thankfully, Rick Rubin came along. It's like, hey, man, how about we write you some good songs? And he's like, let's try that for once. It's been 25 years.
Thank fucking Christ Rick Rubin came along and dusted Johnny Cash off.
Yeah, a lot of those guys, like Porter Wagner, had one last great album, like after a legit half century of shit. He put out one right before he passed away. I think it was called Wagon Master. That was really good. I might be getting that name wrong, but yeah. Check out that last Porter Wagner album. Something not very hip what we're discussing.
Yeah, no, you're really having Porter your Homer
Wagner's
moments
came
here.
Up more times on this podcast than your typical fucking Porter Wagner podcast will mention him. Because they're probably sick of talking about him.
But not here on this Simpsons podcast.
Yeah. Well, fucking Dolly Parton liked him for a long time, so by God, he must... heard he had a huge hog, so that might have been part of it, too.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good for him.
There you go. That was discussed on that... is it behind that touring? Mike Judge had that great Cinemax show where it's just old rock and mostly old country guys talk about Days on the Road back in the 70s. And like someone brought up that Porter Wagoner had a fucking crippler between his legs and he loved showing it off to people.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, like Milton Berle style, just itching for a reason to fucking expose yourself to strangers.
Hi, I'm Porter Wagner, and this is my penis.
Well, that's alarming. That shillelagh's got a few too many cricks in it for my taste.
Sir, you're going to have to leave that in the car. You can't bring that in here.
Oh, it's a Morning Star. How fun.
It's all pointy at the end. Oh man, thanks for that segment of Porter Wagner's penis.
That'll be like a side project, the Porter Wagner Penis Hour.
Keeping
now we'll
everybody on their
examine
toes.
it from the right side.
Join us next week for Girth Talk.
Yeah. So, original theorists thought that was a spider bite. Turns out a cigarette burn. So Homer Simpson is depressed that he's no longer cool.
My favorite part of that entire sequence of the kids hating his music is that we get to hear Mississippi Queen by Mountain, which is a forgotten banger.
Yep.
Mississippi Queen is a dope-ass song.
Yeah. Leslie West just passed away. Rest in peace. He's the creative force behind Mountain.
I just know Mississippi Queen.
I think that's about it. I think if you got Mississippi Queen, just play that 10 times in a row and you got their greatest hits.
This, I don't know if we ever got around to it, is episode 24, Homer Palooza.
Oh, yes.
I don't know that.
I was really jumping in at a mid-jog already.
You had Homer, you had fucking Wagner's hog on your mind.
Yeah. It's so big, it's hard to think about anything else.
Blots out the sun.
Yeah. Like being in a Chevette surrounded by semis on the interstate. Can't see nothing else. Homer goes to a record store in hopes of, kind of catching up with the new music, and he's asking for bands that are hilariously outdated, and he's looking, he can't believe they're in the oldies section, which, thinking back, these bands that he's asking are like the Foo Fighters now. Like, it seemed comically old back then, but it's like, oh man, like that, they were only less than 20 years old. It's like, I listen to a lot of music from the 90s still. Like, I'm just coming to terms that that's classic rock now.
Well, I think, though, much like the Foo Fighters, the difference with the Foo Fighters, though, is that they stayed current. Styx wasn't still putting out new records in 1996, I don't think.
I mean,
God, Christ, I hope
that
not.
I'm sure they had some horrifying thing they were peddling at county fair shows, but yeah, you could just do a hand raise to count the record sales.
Yeah,
Who got the new cassette?
We just want you to play fucking Mr. Roboto again.
Yeah.
Or Renegade. Renegade is the Styx song.
Renegade
for me.
slaps. The Styx had that kind of interesting dynamic where the lead singer wanted to be super operatic and, Mr. Roboto, while the rest of the band, they just wanted to put out rock and jams, man. They didn't need to have 12-minute fucking, mini operas about fucking robots. Like, they wanted to play Renegade,
Yeah, and there's always that weird split with Styx songs for that reason. Like, you got the weird ones that are great value Queen, and then you have
the Tommy Shaw's. I think Tommy Shaw was the other creative force, the bass player / vocalist. That he was more for just the meat and potatoes rock music, and he's the one that went on to be in Damn Yankees, I believe.
Yep, you are absolutely right with Crazy Uncle Ted.
Yeah. And
I owned that cassette.
The guy from Night Ranger. Oh, wait a second. Tommy Shaw must not have played bass because the guy from Night Ranger plays bass and sings. So, oh man, this podcast. Holy shit, we got doubling down on our Porter Wagner deep dive with a fucking Damn Yankees deep dive.
Oof. Well, that's the thing. Like I don't know if it's age or musical taste, but like I was on Homer's side through this whole front part of the episode of like, man, fuck these kids. These kids don't know Mississippi Queen. Come on.
Jesus Christ, Lisa, you're 8. Like, you're not into anything fucking cool. Like,
right.
You
At
fucking
8 years old in 96, what could she possibly like for music?
Fucking trading Yola Tango EPs with your friends. No, you're fucking listening to New Kids on the Block, or not the mid '90s. Listening to fucking Mariah Carey or whatever's on top 40 radio. Like,
yeah, there's no way she was into anything cool. Like mostly this episode just takes shots at people in their 20s. Yeah. So.
And there's like that really captures that 90s just like fuck everything. Like you get that on the upcoming one where they go to the beach too. Like that fucking kid with the total skid haircut that's working at the record store, which I had that exact same haircut when this episode aired. Like that shave everything but the top and leave it long on top, which was all the rage apparently for people that didn't want to touch girls.
Oh, they make me nervous, so I'll just preemptively
give myself a terrible haircut.
Shake them off.
The haircut that the oldest son from Home Improvement went with on the last season or two, but he made the courageous decision to put it up in a little top knot too. So
yeah, that's how you knew he was a bad boy.
Yeah. You know he's a bad boy now because he was arrested for spousal abuse. So
yeah, that's the real sign of a bad boy. It's not the haircut. It's about, are you willing to choke your partner?
Yeah. Power bomb your spouse if she makes meatloaf one too many times.
I think for you, there's no such thing as too many times for meatloaf. So I think any lady
I
in
haven't power
Nathan's
bombed
is
anyone
safe.
yet. Oh, there's a fake great, like they're kind of making fun of like edgy 90s advertising, but it's for totally outrageous class rings. It's Jostens. Holy shit, did I laugh. I thought, did anyone get a class ring?
I think pretty much fucking everyone I know got a class ring.
That's fascinating.
I didn't.
Yeah. It's interesting what stuff is cool in some schools and not in the other. Like, I've talked to people that like all the preppy or all the jock kids got Letterman's jackets, and that like in my grade and the grade below me, Letterman's jackets, like maybe it got one, some of the kids, but like it wasn't a cool thing. Like a lot of the athletes didn't. And like I remember getting handed like the thing for class rings. I was just like, I don't fucking even like I'm going to have to ask somebody for change to get a fucking little Debbie snack from the school store. Like, yeah.
I don't, and like it wasn't even about price with me. It was like, why would I want this? Why would I want this big, gaudy, ugly fucking thing?
I don't know if you know this. I've never worn a ring in my adult life. Like,
You're right, and you should start.
Yeah,
I feel like that's where you're headed, and I'm way ahead of you, buddy. I think you need to become a jewelry guy.
Have I looked into all the half steps and mistakes in my life? Maybe it's a lack of jewelry is the core to all those problems. Thank you. Maybe I'll start off, I don't know, do I want to be a ring man right away? Or what do I go bracelet? Maybe
I see you as I think you don't half-ass things. I think you just dive in and be a ring man.
Yeah.
I want to see. I envision you with a pinky and index finger on one hand, and then like an index finger, middle finger on the other hand.
Okay.
And something gaudy, something big, something real. The clackable. You'll sit there. You can sit and clack them if you're bored.
Okay. And I'm a fidgety person, so I think I'd really play into that well.
I also, completely unironically, am shocked that you are not a gold chain guy, because I see you and I think, that guy, that's a gold chain guy.
Maybe, I mean, not yet. Maybe I got to look into that. Oh, man, fucking, when I was 9, 10 years old, got gold. Having a gold chain was the coolest thing you could fucking do.
And everyone could only afford $10 way not gold chains that just turn your neck green.
Maybe now is the time. I need to take a good long look in the mirror after this. But
I was a One Ring guy briefly in my 20s, and a gold chain kid earlier. And I've always been a watch guy, but that's almost not jewelry at that point.
See, I haven't been a watch guy since I was a little kid.
I haven't left the house in 2 days and am wearing a watch.
Oh man, I just totally lost my train of thought. To the editing floor.
I love this record store sequence, and I think one of my favorite jokes that doesn't get acknowledged at all is the, like, Gen Xer over it, too cool for the room guy with the swoop cut working at the record store is reading a magazine entitled Mondo Frowns.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Good catch.
Holy shit.
Yeah. A lot of frowning and sneering and eye rolling in the mid-90s. Mm-hmm. You had to be too cool for everything.
Yeah, which we dig into at the end of this episode in a great way, trying to like break that down.
And so Homer he wants to win the kids over, and he figures out the way to do that is to surprise them with Lollapalooza tickets. Which at that time,
Hubbabalooza.
Oh yeah, they do.
I'm guessing we
can't.
Yep. I'm guessing we can't just call it Lollapalooza.
Which, I mean, this is very on point, because I'd say in 96, 97, you're getting towards the last Lollapalooza of the big touring show, but it was still a pretty big thing in 96. So yeah,
before changing to just a destination show.
Yeah, boy, that's kind of died off the giant traveling tour, like festival, that was a thing in the mid to late 90s. You had Lollapalooza, you had Lilith Fair, you had Horde. Horde was a lot of the jam band type. Then you had Ozfest, you had Warp Tour,
Family Values Tour in the late 90s.
Yeah, any flavor of music you were into had a giant traveling circus show.
Yeah, and Warp Tour, I think, is back to doing that, or was in the before times of pre-COVID.
Well, they were just quitting a couple years ago. Did they bring it back?
I went to the Vans Warp Tour probably 5 years ago. So
yeah,
I don't know how
I think they were
up to
still
date
going strong. I think 2018 might have been the last one, but who fucking knows? I barely keep track of fucking what my own life's up to, let alone what the goddamn Warp Tour's doing.
Warp Tour is the show I drove 8 hours round trip to see Riff Raff for 20 minutes.
That is time well spent.
Mm-hmm. Got me a hell of a sunburn just to see Riff Raff.
Stood on a lot of hot asphalt in a parking lot of a big arena somewhere. Why don't they let us inside the arena? Because we're not worth it.
And I was 30 at the time and felt like I was 85 years old, looking around at these fucking kids.
Yeah. Draped in black denim.
Yeah, a lot of Hot Topic kids at the Warp Tour. And meanwhile, it's me and this other, dude in his 30s we have tattoos and mohawks and cut off t-shirts, just we're here for Riff Raff.
Eclectic man. Don't apologize.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I
won't either.
Pointing out,
people ask me to apologize for you a lot. I refuse to.
Thank you for that.
How dare you let him broadcast his sick thoughts?
I don't think of the two of us. I don't think I'm the one broadcasting
the sick you were
thoughts.
Very often the voice of reason on America's
I don't know how it happened, but I think I'm the straight man here.
You're the less troubled of the two. You're the Marcy to my Peppermint Patty.
God, somebody draw that. Somebody draw Nathan and I as Marcy and Peppermint Patty.
Charles Schultz style.
Yeah. Fuck. We'll make that the new logo and throw everybody off. It's a Simpsons podcast, and their logo is the Peanuts, and they don't talk about the Simpsons.
Holy shit, I would. Someone called me tonight and started to want to do a weekly Peanuts podcast. I'm fucking in.
I don't know
read,
fuck all about the Peanuts.
I've read an alarming amount of Peanuts comic strips. So Homer brings the kids to Lollapalooza, where pretty quickly his dadness shines through, and he's not cool, and the kids don't want to be around him. And that makes him sad. It turns out no one does. They start calling him a narc because he is a nearly 40-year-old man with a ridiculous Rastafari hat on.
Yeah. Being like, I'm cool too, kids. And they shout narc and body surf him out of the crowd.
I had a time in my early 20s that whenever I get blackout drunk, I just randomly accuse strangers sometimes of being narcs. Funny, I never got stomped half to death. It ends up through an accident involving Peter Frampton's inflatable pig. Turns out Homer can take a shot to the stomach like few men can.
Yeah.
And ends up getting picked up for the traveling freak show portion of Hubbabalooza, which makes him seem very fucking cool to the kids. Goes on the road, gets... as much fame as being in a freak show will afford you. But
And that was the thing with these traveling big tours. They'd have like the Jägermeister side stage where we got the tattooed lizard guy with the split tongue and all that. Like weird. I don't know what those were there for, but yeah, those were definitely a staple of these things.
Yep. I can't think of the name. It had a name, that tour, like the freak show part that went along with Lollapalooza. It was like, kind of had a circus vibe, and like the head MC guy, I remember, had a mustache, but boy, that's a little too vague.
Oh yes, that guy with the mustache.
A mustached man. Oh, We have a very strong depiction of him. I bet we can find him from just this. Thank you, citizen.
You're the police sketch artist's worst fucking nightmare. Oh, he had a face. He had like a whole face.
And during this, we do get to see some rock bands and rap. We get to see Cypress Hill. I forgot how big Cypress Hill was there for a hot minute.
And this was before anybody I know anyway. This was before we were listening to Cypress Hill. We came into Cypress Hill at Skull and Bones when Rock Superstar came out.
I'm old enough that Insane in the Brain, or whatever the title of that song is, that album was pretty huge.
Okay, yeah,
they kind of had like a little bit of
a
couple year break, and then they had that Rock Superstar that was really big. Yeah,
that album, it's a double album, Skull and Bones. That's a real good record still.
Did they have a single called Tequila Sunrise off that album? I thought that was a catchy song. That was around that era, very late 90s.
I don't know that would have been off that record. But...
Yeah, I don't think it was. Now that I think it was either the one right before or right after that. We get to see Peter Frampton. We get to see, later on, we see Sonic Youth digging through Peter Frampton's cooler.
Oh my God. That scene was so fucking funny of Peter Frampton being like, Sonic Youth is getting into my cooler. And they're like, oh, come on, Frampton. You're not going to eat all that watermelon.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I was dying. I also have noted, doesn't Peter Frampton seem like a weird fit for this show?
Yeah. I don't get, that just seems like a weird, because, I wouldn't think the Simpsons writers are that out of touch, but maybe that inflatable pig gag was just too good to lose. But the inflatable pig thing, that wasn't even a Frampton thing, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, he mentions, I bought that at Pink Floyd's yard sale.
Yeah. It just seems like they could have had a current artist doing the whole Peter Frampton thing, but who knows?
Yeah, if I look at that lineup, Cypress Hill, Sonic Youth, The Smashing Pumpkins, and Peter Frampton, I'm going to wonder what Peter Frampton's doing on that show.
Exactly, yeah. Pumpkins feature pretty heavily, and we get to, man, that fucking riff in the song Zero, man.
Mm-hmm. Zero is a banger. Zero's a good-ass song.
This episode came out when if you were to ask me what my favorite band on planet Earth was, I probably would have enthusiastically said Smashing Pumpkins. Them or Soundgarden. I was fucking in deep.
I like the Smashing Pumpkins, but I was never a super fan.
Oh, really? Yeah. Like, I didn't get in on Siamese Dream, which, was their huge blow-up album, but then the next one, Melancholy, that was, yeah. I remember being at my buddy's house at a Prime Star dish, and I caught the video debut of, what's it called? Rat in a Cage, or whatever that song's called. It's like, holy
Bullet with
shit.
Butterfly Wings.
Bullet with Butterfly Wings. It's like, I need to own that.
Yeah, I like all their hits and have never really dug further in.
There's some deep cuts on that album that, like, Smashing Pumpkins' heavy shit was so fucking heavy, and I just loved it.
And their super not heavy shit is really good for not heavy shit.
They're just a kick-ass band. Like, I mean, for the short window they had before everything imploded, but
like Disarm is fucking fantastic for a
1979.
slow jam.
Such a catchy song, yeah.
Disarm, I will keep selling you on this, used to great effect in The Shield.
Oh, interesting.
I'm going to get you there. I'm going to get you to do a Shield podcast.
The only thing that's stopping me is my abject laziness. I think this is a show. I've had a few friends whose opinions I trust really sell The Shield hard, so this is not me being obstinate. I'm just lazy.
I'm not objecting to it. I'm just tired all the time.
Of course, Mr. Burns owns Ticketmaster. I thought that was a great
loved
gig.
that joke. Like, you said people wouldn't pay 100% in service fees, Smithers. Holy shit, that was good.
We forget that in the mid-90s, like, we tried to get rid of, like, Pearl Jam quit touring, basically, to fight Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
But fucking Ticketmaster won. We still pay outrageous service fees. It is insane when you think about it. Like, how much it adds up to, like...
Yeah, like, $20 ticket, and you check out, and it's fucking $39.95.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck that shit.
It's nuts, man. I do not understand it.
There's a moment earlier when Homer's talking to Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins, and the quote was so good I wrote it down. He says, "Thanks to your gloomy music, my kids stopped dreaming about a future I can't possibly provide."
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I loved it. The swings that, I assume that this episode was written by 50-year-old men making fun of Gen X. Because, those are all of the jokes in this episode. But yes, that was a spicy one that I really liked.
There's a good one, too. I think it's talking about, something about, disaffecting, like something about depressing teens is like shooting fish in a barrel. yeah,
out of Bart, that line.
Yeah.
Yeah, they show the crowd quote unquote dancing to Zero when they're playing that song, and it's just everyone frowning, kind of vaguely shuffling their shoulders.
Funeral dirge dance. And then so Homer, the kids are still impressed because he's still touring with Hubba-Balooza, but he finds out that if he takes another cannonball to the old Tum Tum, he's gonna die. So he is really struggling. He's like, do I want to lose my newfound popularity with my kids? Or do I want to live?
Yeah, what a conundrum.
Yeah. In the end, he does lose his nerve, and he gets to the point they still fire the cannon at him. He just ducks out at the last second.
He runs it all the way down to the wire there, Homer.
Happily avoid, his kids not dislike him, but think he's lame again, but he doesn't care. He's with them, and that's what matters. Another wholesome ending. Yeah,
and that's where we get our moment of the parents trying to figure out what exactly is cool and being like, I don't know, am I cool? No. Yeah, but I know that, so that's cool, right? And they go back and forth for several minutes as they're driving away. I have always been someone. There's a scene earlier during a flashback to the 70s where Homer's a kid and Abe is like, that racket, and Homer is or young Homer and young Barney are in there like, you just don't get it, old man. And he's like, I used to get it, and then they changed what it is, and now what the new it is, I think, is scary. It's like, oof.
Spot on.
I have never wanted to be like, especially when it comes to music, never once have I ever wanted to be like the old man who hates all the kids' music.
And so it happened to me, and I didn't even realize it.
See, you gotta be active about it. You gotta put the work in.
Yep. What used to do it for me is I had a friend that worked at a shitty college meat market bar, and I would go in and have a couple beers before the college kids rolled in, and that their jukebox just played top 40 horse shit. So I would actually sink in through osmosis. But like probably like 3 or 4 years ago, we're talking about Justin Bieber, and I'm like, I can't name a song of his. And someone's like, quit acting like you're an elitist. I'm like, I honestly cannot name a Justin Bieber song. It's like, it like dawned on me, like there are giant pop stars that exist, and I don't even know them. I'm like, yeah, like an elderly person.
See, I I seek it out. I try to keep on top of things. Like here at the end of the year when we flipped over to the new year, I immediately went to Spotify and added the the Billboard Top 100 pop songs of the year, and I was like, I got to get through all these, and just so I know, and like, hey, there's good fucking music out right now, which is cool. Like, I wasn't gritting my teeth the whole time getting through it. Like, grr, I hate all this. Like, sure, there's plenty of songs in there I don't care for, but that's bound to happen. But I don't know if you've heard of this kid Post Malone, but I think he's got a real future in front of him. He's a real bright young lad.
He's another person. I know the name. I know he looks silly. Couldn't name a song.
God, you sound 1,000 years old.
Fucking years old. Yep. And I'm sure.
Nope.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy. Don't be Homer in this episode.
Dude, it's too late. Well, we're a decade in by 7 to 8 years in of me just having no clue what's happening outside of the few bands I like.
It's never too late, buddy.
That's true. Yep. I can delve in. I can find out what the hot takes and vapid pop music are now.
Yeah, go listen to The Weeknd and Post Malone's albums from last year and be like, okay, there's some shit out here.
A little feather in my hat. I know one Weeknd song. Huh.
Oh, look at you.
Uh-huh.
Atta boy.
I'm cool. Man, one thing I always thought was lame was when parents did try to act like they were cool. Like, or try to like ingratiate themselves with their kids. Like, we're the cool parents, and we'll let you drink in our basement, but no one can drive home. It's like, this is sad. I'm gonna go there and get blotto, but I'm glad my folks are hard asses, and like, my dad is angered and confused by new music.
Yeah, you were fine. Like, having an uncool parent was less embarrassing than trying to be cool parent. Yeah, like, I get that.
My dad back then, like, he didn't even like music of his. Like, he liked like mid-60s like Motown. It's like, you were 8 when the song came out. Like, I know that's not. He also liked like 70s AM top 40. Like, whatever their pop music of the era, but like, we've maybe just like, my dad didn't like Black Sabbath. That was like doper music. Just all the good shit he didn't seem to care for would just baffle me. Like, not into the Who? Really? Nope.
Baba O'Reilly doesn't put a little pep in your step?
Can listen to the Four Tops, and then the guy that sang "In the Summertime,"
which is so weird for such a curmudgeonly man to like such jaunty music.
Yep, I'm sure that's just the shit that was playing on the back. Always listen to an oldies station pulling an AM signal out of Winnipeg. That was always in every car we owned growing up. No country, which I fight. Man. Which is, differ from a lot of the dads of our era.
Yeah, I think my dad listened exclusively to pre-1970 country music, and that was
I could get down with that now. Holy moly!
but it wasn't like cool. At least it wasn't at the time.
No.
Like now, I love old Johnny Cash or old Hank One or Chris Christopherson, but at the time, like I was like, "What the fuck is this? This isn't Meatloaf at all." Now Meatloaf is cool.
See, I liked all the fucking Hank Snow, just the fucking I like the mid card guys too. Even I'm an early country music mark.
Yep, you gotta try to stay in it, Nathan. You gotta try to keep up.
Fight against the dying of the light.
Exactly. Rage. Paddle upstream, my friend. Episode number 25, the final episode of Season 7, is Summer of 4 featuring 2, or 4 foot 2. I just realized that means 4 foot 2, not 4
I thought it was Summer of
2.
4 Part 2. I'm confused.
No, it's FT period, and I listened to too much music, so I thought, that's featuring 2. Nope, that's 4 foot 2 because Lisa's short. Got it.
Okay.
You see, what we should do is redo all that, and I'll just cut that out, but we're just plowing ahead.
No, they need to see it all. They need they've earned a peek behind the curtain 31 episodes in.
The sausage making process is not always pretty.
Yeah, sometimes it's shirtless too.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Mostly.
Yeah.
It's the last day of school, and the kids are understandably excited. When the bell rings, Milhouse goes running out, but it was the starting bell and not the ending bell, because Milhouse is an idiot.
And I don't want to derail you this early, but does it bum you out that you're never, ever going to feel the joy equivalent of the joy you felt on the last day of school?
God, those last day of schools were magical.
2 weeks, I loved it. Because the teachers were fucking punching out, man. Just get a random field trip just to burn a day. We had play day, where you just fucking basically like track and field type shit.
Yeah, we had that.
We did this thing called academic day, where just you and another person would go class. So it was just like a game, oh man, yeah. You just knew the teacher's spirits were broken, so no curveballs were coming at you, man. They were half foot out the door too, so
yeah,
that was a good feeling.
And there was nothing, everything was done, and there wasn't enough time to start a new thing.
Yep.
It's there was that vibe the entire last couple weeks.
It was finally fucking nice outside after 7 months of fucking, just shit winter. It's finally getting nice. Oh man, yeah, good times.
Yeah, all of us had a combination of oh man, it's that excitement of getting out of school combined with just this dread of now we gotta work because we're all farm kids. Lisa, super proud of the yearbooks that she has put together. Lisa, a yearbook editor. I love that. I love the way my brain works when she stuck her knife into that box and cut open the tape to see the new yearbooks, and the first one she pulls out has a huge gash in it. When she stuck that knife in the box, I was like, that's too deep.
Yeah.
She shouldn't do that. And then the joke validated me. I felt good about that.
That's why I use box cutters instead of knives.
Lisa is, passes out all the yearbooks. No one signs Lisa's yet. Bart has his own private signing table, which is funny.
But Milhouse is coordinating.
Yeah, Milhouse is the one who's opening the books and telling him the name.
Was your school system small enough that it was one of those ones that did put the grade school kids in the yearbook?
Yes.
That's wild, yeah.
Ours
was just
12.
high school. Ours was 9 through 12.
I don't own one of my own yearbooks. I never bought one at the end of the year.
I only
my
have...
senior year or whatever.
Yeah, yearbooks are weird. At least ours, you didn't get your senior yearbook until the next fall. I'm not gonna come back to pick up. So I got one my senior year, but it's for my junior year, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, that
'Cause-
makes sense.
and
I mean,
I'm-
it doesn't make sense, but
Yeah.
I understand.
You're on the same page, yeah. And I mean, it was like, I remember one time my mom stumbled upon it, and she was reading what my friends wrote. So she, I'm sure, still thinks I am a deviant homosexual man with a crippling inhalant problem, because my friends wrote the most unimaginably awful things in my yearbook, because that's
good.
what boys do.
Memories.
Yep. God, some of my friends, to this day, if I crack that open and read, I got some friends that are very funny. There's some great comments in there. See, in your school too, did you also, you would sign each other's yearbooks, I'm assuming?
That's
was a thing?
not a thing that I remember doing at all.
Really?
But yeah,
How
I mean,
about
maybe. I don't know.
When you were a senior, signing up for each other's senior pictures.
Yes, that I remember. You would pass out, your little box with your 5 ones, and everyone picks which one they want. Yep.
And would they be personalized, like notes on them and stuff on the back?
They could be, but I think mostly it was just a name, like
really?
maybe a signature or something.
Man, we were extra as fuck. Like, there
No
was
kidding.
tons of-
God damn.
But I remember a good friend of mine, man, shout out to Steve, rest in peace. He handed his list out in it was like columns. So do you want picture 1? Put your name under picture 1. You want number 2? It was like picture number 4. Nobody signed up for. I'm like, wonder what's with number 4. I looked at it. I'm sure it was like, sometimes you're a guy, you just don't put a lot of thought into it. And whoever taking the pictures thought it would be great if he had like a Western themed one, because he was kind of a country kid. It is him in tight jeans with a tucked in Western dress shirt, straddling a square bale and like looking dead ahead into the camera. And it was the most inadvertently homoerotic thing. I signed up for like 40 of them. And he gave me a bunch. And the note is, it's like, I don't think I want to know what you're going to do with all these pictures. I'm like, well, I'm leaving them at restaurants, brother. Mixed in with the tip money.
Oh, that's amazing.
You like what you see? Call this. Be one of my buddy's parents' landlines.
That'll show him for giving me these gifts.
I mean, it's a victimless crime on his part. Someone else is going to get pestered.
Holy shit.
Oh, can't be normal. Couldn't be. Heaven forbid.
We definitely had some kids in my senior class who were definitely some cowboys in their photos as well.
Oh.
Not me. I grew out of my cowboy shit fucking years before that.
I kind of embraced it a little bit because I was just a very confused young man. I was like, yeah. Trade in those Wranglers for some giant baggy jeans.
At some point, you throw away the Lees and pick up the Jinkos, and you're on your way. Trade your Stetson for a ponytail.
I finally got old enough to get a job, so I didn't have to buy whatever shit my mom found at Kmart in the Husky Gent section. I remember one time my mom bought me a brand of jeans called Morona, and I was like, Mom, I accept that we are very not wealthy. In fact, we are probably lower middle class, definitely lower middle class. Like, I will wear generic clothes, but I'm not going to wear generic women's clothes. These are not women's jeans. Like, these are certainly women's jeans. There are other poor kids in school, Mom. I never see any of the other guys wearing Morona brand jeans. It's a very feminine cut. I know I'm a pear-shaped little boy, but enough's enough.
Not looking to accentuate these hips, Ma.
They need less accentuation. We need to camouflage these hips.
Yeah. Not only am I a doughy boy, but it's the 90s, and we don't accentuate anything. It's baggy everything, man.
And then, like, 3 years later, I was buying bargain basement jeans at, like, Nodak because shit like that was cool because everyone wanted hammer loops for some reason.
Yeah, we were all carpenters there for a while.
I bought a lot of Key Imperial jeans, like the coverall brand.
They make legit work gear, and you're just buying their jeans. Yeah, I remember the hammer loops and the double layered knees, like the extra layer of denim on the knees for no reason.
The Key Imperials had that pliers pocket on the side.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
for all your pliers.
Yeah,
and carpenter's pencils.
Yeah.
Lisa, horribly unpopular, which we already knew, but we really see it in this episode. Flanders, in the meantime, unable to go out to his beach house for vacation, offers to let Homer use it, and then Homer also talks him into fixing their septic tank because Ned can't catch a break.
Yeah. Tell her to say no, that Ned.
Yeah, he's too pure. They get to I love the gag where they get to the beach house and Ned has put Post-it notes on everything, like little helpful hints.
Yeah.
Like individual Post-it notes on every ice cube hole in the ice cream cube tray saying fill me. Yeah, and then you peel it up and it says with water.
Yeah.
Put food in me on the refrigerator. Holy shit. In
the earlier scene, we get to see yet again the bold move of Marge riding in the front seat while holding an infant.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get your kids taken away nowadays. Different time.
Not how we do it anymore. Lisa decides that this is a perfect opportunity to leave herself behind and be whoever she wants to be. And I love that she kind of has to fight it. She catches herself wanting to go to the library.
Yeah.
And she hallucinates all of Pippi Longstockings and the New Yorker cartoons and Alice and the Mad Hatter being come read us, Lisa. But she fights it back, and while out shopping with Marge, buys herself what she thinks are her cool clothes, and it's a baseball cap and some pink round glasses and tie-dyes and cargo jeans or capris, I guess. It's an odd look.
Yeah, man. Round sunglasses really had their moment of sun in the mid-90s.
I never had round sunglasses.
You got a round head, big round face. I do too, man. They are meant for narrow-faced folks. Not us.
I definitely participated in the these are sunglasses that do not block any sun because they are barely tinted a bright color.
Yeah.
I had some square blue sunglasses in my day, but definitely never got in on the Lennon shades.
Oh, yeah.
I got a big square head. I don't need little round sunglasses. It's not
really
a good
make
look.
A guy stick out, not in a good way.
I already stick out. Yeah, I don't need help. So hip cool Lisa makes some friends with some of the local kids that she finds under the pier, and she's just it's funny to watch her struggle with trying to be aloof.
Yeah.
At one point they're looking at seashells and she's like, "Oh, this is my favorite crustacean," and they're like, "Oh, did you learn that word in school?" They're just repulsed by it.
Yeah.
Bart, when he sees Lisa hanging out with them, is like, "Well, fuck, I'm gonna show them if they think Lisa's cool, they're gonna shit their fucking pants over this." And he skateboards down to where they are and does a bunch of skateboard tricks and rides through the fountain, and then they, again, being 90s kids and being so aloof, are just that dude reeks of effort, I believe were the exact words. Oh, he's trying too hard.
Nobody likes a try hard.
Nobody likes a try hard, which I'll back that up.
Yeah.
Just be cool, man. Just relax.
Oh, in that scene, too, Milhouse has a great line where he's peeking through the bushes, Lisa's hanging out with cool kids, and she looks like Blossom. So good.
Oh, Blossom.
Oh.
Homer goes down to the convenience store to buy fireworks, and this apparently is a scene out of American Graffiti, but I've never seen that film, where he's like, I'll just have to play it cool. And he goes up and like buys pornography and 2 disposable enemas and big condoms and a bottle of liquor, and then tries to sneak in and some fireworks. He gets sold some fireworks, just one giant like stick of dynamite firework.
Yeah, it's like a little mini keg.
Yeah, and he there's that hilarious, very cartoon scene of him like lighting it on the stove and then being like, oh shit, and not knowing where to put it. It gets very Warner Brothers for a second of him trying to figure out what to do with this. Throws it in the fridge and slams it shut, and then, no, the beer, and takes it out. Eventually throws it in the dishwasher and blows that up, which causes the sink to back up and flood the kitchen. Good sight gag with Homer and his fireworks.
I kind of forgot about that. That is a very good...
it's real Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah. When I was a kid, my dad used to get his hands on, we call them duck bombs. They were like quarter sticks of dynamite. And man, yeah, after you get a few of those, everything else seems pretty tame at the old fireworks shop.
My dad liked fireworks and I would say spend a little above average on fireworks, but it was never anything wild or anything dangerous. It was always just like, we got Black Cat firecrackers, which is, boring, but we got 100,000 of them, and bottle rockets, and, a couple of, bricks that fire off a handful of shots, but nothing. You fucking go to fireworks stores now, and it's like, man, I could take over a small island nation with the fireworks that are in my shopping cart.
We were just not I think we discussed this before. Growing up, me and some of the other poor kids in the trailer park, which that's an oxymoron. You don't have to say poor kids in the trailer park.
We know.
That's redundant. We would, on July 5th, would tie a wagon to the back of my bike and just slowly coast around, find all the burnt, spent fireworks, throw them in the wagon, go back to my place, and then throw the old fireworks in the air and pretend they were real fireworks.
Holy shit.
Could you imagine driving by that? You would get out and talk to the mom to sponsor that family.
Oh man, just you with empty Roman candles throwing them in the air.
If you found a Roman candle, it was great. Mostly just the stick of a bottle rocket with a little bit of paper still stuck to the top.
Holy shit. That's the poorest thing I've ever heard of in my life.
That was oh yeah, I remember just looking forward to it. I mean, after the sadness of not having real fireworks, because there were families that did in the trailer park. You hear them going off all night, and then the July 5th was our time to shine.
Holy shit!
And you don't have to wait for nighttime when you have the power of imagination.
The best friend of the poor and the lonely, imagination.
If that happened in the house next to you, you would move because it'd be so depressing. I can't be around this level of poverty.
Every summer when you did that, everyone else's home values went down.
Yeah. Well, man, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever taken a good look at Southbrook Trailer Park. That was the 9th most heartbreaking thing going on that afternoon.
We should probably visit that the next time we're in Botno doing comedy.
Dude, you must not have been part of it because I showed all the other comics and my God, it is not looking better. Shout out to my buddy Damien that still lives there.
Oof. Yeah, I didn't get to see that when we were in Botno.
Dude, it's some rough stuff on the south end, let me tell you what.
We just went to that place north of town that has the weird fucking stargazing thing.
Oh, Mystical Horizons.
There we go. Yeah.
All of our butthole chakras were gaping after that.
I like a good worked out butthole chakra, yeah.
So open you can see your kidney chakras.
It's a weird place.
Yeah, it is. It's a very weird place. It's a good way to word it. That was a place this summer where I caught that middle-aged couple dry humping to to Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. I mean, caught's a wrong word. I was lying in wait.
You didn't spring out and go, aha!
I felt bad. I wanted them to, hey, keep at it. Like, so this is a hard time to find love. We're in a quarantine.
But also, you can't do that either. You can't start cheerleading while they're dry humping.
They don't want that either.
Nope. You gotta find a happy middle ground in there.
They don't want a giant strange man walk up to the car and give him the double thumbs up. Because that's what the Zodiac Killer did.
Oh, God. And to Fast Car.
Yep.
That's not even the good Tracy Chapman song.
I mean, I think it's good, but it's not. It's sad. But you know what? You're 44 years old. You're in a Chevy Malibu with someone you just can only tolerate. You're not going to put a mixtape together. It's whatever's on the one FM station you can pull.
If you're going to car bang on top of the hill to Tracy Chapman, it is Give Me One Reason. That's what you let your flag fly to.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking marching into the battlefield of sex with Fast Car on my shield.
God, you listen to those lyrics. That song's just devastating, too. Like, sorry, I have to abandon our relationship so I can stay home and take care of my bedridden alcoholic father.
Yep.
Good times. It sets the mood.
Oh, 90s music. Woof. Bart is jealous of Lisa and her friends and that she's popular. So Bart, wouldn't you know it, sets out to ruin that all. And he does, or so he thinks. Yeah. He marches right down to the beach where they're all hanging out, enjoying themselves, and shows them Lisa's yearbook and how she was awarded teacher's pet and perfect attendance and lead buckaroo at the grammar rodeo.
Yeah. Oh, just such a shithead sibling thing to do.
Yeah, just ruin shit for no reason.
Yep, just out of spite. Oh, there's a great scene earlier when Bart's bummed out that he's just has to hang out with his parents in Millhouse, and they're playing that shitty like dating board game. And when someone gets the dud, Homer points out that the dud looks just like Millhouse.
Yeah.
Holy shit, how he laughs at him. It's so great.
Hey, that looks like just like you, Poindexter. He just lays into Millhouse.
Just laughing his ass. I'm just having the time of his life.
Oh, God. I love the scene at breakfast the next morning where, like, Marge leaves for just a second and Lisa, like, snaps and grabs Bart and pulls him right up to her face and is just speaking through gritted teeth like, yep. I am the sister of a mean, horrible, awful piece of garbage. Like, just really, really right on the edge of just stabbing that boy, and is about to pour honey in his eyes when Marge comes back in.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
So great.
I noted that like they go to the carnival then and they do like the squirt gun that fills up the balloon in the clown's mouth, and then they do the bumper cars. I have never once been in bumper cars. Have you ever ridden bumper cars?
Oh yeah, yep. When I was young, the county fair that came to Botno would have bumper cars. It's fucking hit or miss, man. You get the one that just doesn't work. It's like, oh, this one just
like Lisa in this episode.
Yeah, or some of them they don't have reverse, so your car's pinned against a wall. It's like, well, what the fuck do I do? Like, or they shout out to my buddy Damien yet again. When we were like 8, we went to the North Dakota State Fair. They had water bumper cars. What the fuck kind of liability insurance do you have letting children ride little jet skis into each other? Like, gotta have a propeller, gotta be sharp. Mm-hmm. How is they're not at least one fatality a year or a drowning? Do you think that Carney is trained in water safety? Oh my God.
That Carney does not have a lifeguard's
By
license.
the smell of him, he's obviously afraid of water. He is not used to that lifestyle.
Also, by the smell of him, he is hammered.
He is fucked on pills. He thinks the water's lava. He does not want to go near it. I remember when I saw that, I was like, I'm just going to do this until they no longer accept our money. And a carny snapped at my buddy Damien. I don't know what kind of horseplay we got into. We had to get out of there because he was a very scary carny. They were a more hyper-aggressive level of carny than the county fair folk. More apex predator carny. We weren't ready for that.
Man, it's like just the idea that you would have fun things at your county fair. Like, we had our county fair every year, but like, all you did was go to the livestock shows, or or there was rodeos at night.
Yeah.
But the idea of like bumper cars or any kind of carnival coming to a county fair is mind blowing to me.
Oh, no shit. So, yeah, we always had when I was a little kid, we had a fucking baller Midway, like multiple rides for kids, like multiple rides for adults, and then all sorts of games. And the older I got, the worse. But when I was like 14, there was still like, you probably have a Ferris wheel, maybe the zipper, the big swings with the long chain where you really get swinging around. Probably the tilt-a-whirl, the scrambler. Most underrated ride at any county fair is the scrambler. God, I'm a scrambler guy. Maybe the spider, maybe the spinning teacups, and then all the little kid shit. Oh, man, that's a big part of when I was a little kid, I would sit in my grandma's backyard because I could see the county fair or the county fairgrounds from there and just watch for hours and just with excitement and anticipation as the carnies chain smoked and set up equipment shoddily. Like, I remember just being so jealous of the carnies. Like, they get to ride the rides every day. You fucking think those carnies like going on that tilt-a-whirl as hungover as they are? No fucking chance. I was a naive young boy. I loved the fair until I was like 10 and I Ralphed all over the tilt-a-whirl and a carny screamed at me. I was shook. A little bit of my lust for the carnival was gone.
Couldn't hang anymore.
Playing the games, like winning all sorts of like chintzy photograph with piece of glass over with paper frame. That was a classic at the fair. Like, oh boy, why do fucking 8-year-old boys want so many pictures of Ferraris? Like, yeah, another Ferrari. I always remember the Scholastic Book Fair had tons of Ferrari posters and shit.
Big into sports cars, the book fair.
Yeah. A car that's worth more than your family's made in 50 fucking years.
I'm sure. I bet your parents love you flaunting what they can't give you.
Yeah. I remember for the third time, my buddy Damien, when we're like 9 years old.
Did you have any other friends?
Yeah, not a whole lot, man. He won a picture of a woman lying on top of a Ferrari and her nipples are poking out. And this rando weird little kid paid him cash top dollar for it. Like,
weird.
It's like, wait, what? Like, I thought it was going to be like a carny trade, like, what did you win? We'll trade you this. Like, no, man, here's $10. Like, what? Like, okay, dude. Like, have fun with this.
God, see, our county fair experience, we all showed cattle, so you spent your days like tending and caring for the cattle. But
piss-ridden hay.
Even the nights, which are supposed to be fun, like you might go to the rodeo, but like that's just sitting in the back of a pickup watching people almost stay on a horse for a little while, and then like the amount of time spent at the county rodeo for me and my friends, just sitting in the dirt waiting for all of our dads to get done being hammered so they can drive us all home. Like, that's like the amount of naps I took in the back seat of the pickup waiting for drunk dad to take us home. Like, that's everyone's county fair experience was.
We ran like animals and just were all over the place. Yeah.
I am befuddled by this.
And then we'd run. I would always take a lap through the 4-H area. The FFA is like, it's like, Jesus, this is drab, man. It's like, do you know there's a zipper right over there, dude? Like, it'll spin, you'll puke everywhere and have the time of your life. Like, I don't like, this is dumb. This is a horse. Fucking horse can't even flip. Show me a horse that can do what the scrambler does. That should win first prize. Give the scrambler the blue ribbon.
Man, what different lives.
In FFA, we had to do a seed sample. Do you remember doing seed samples? So, if you tell this to a kid that grew up in the city, they're like, what planet? We would literally get a pile of seeds dumped in front of us, and you would sift through them and pick out the shitty-looking seeds. Whoever had the best seed sample, and you'd take it to the county fair, and you could win ribbons and actually a little bit of cash. Is this a thing you remember doing?
I definitely know of it. I was not participating in that world, no.
We had to do it in shop class. I remember that as part of our shop class, which seemed funny to me. But I was like, I don't want to do this. But then I was like, hey, I'm going to choose confectionery sunflower seeds because they're the biggest seed. They'll be easy to look through. I just gave it a glance. Oh, no cigarette butts here. I just pushed it into the jar. And it turned out like no one else entered a confectionery sunflower seed sample. So I got a blue ribbon for it.
Oh, boy.
Got like $25, which when you're 14 meant a lot.
Yeah.
Paper money, man. You didn't have a whole lot of that.
I can't believe you didn't follow that career path of getting deep into confectionery sunflowers.
I got a little something for a bench I built, too. I got a little bit of the FFA hustle down. I had a few cash inflows through county fair money. God, yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I'd go see the FFA kids or the 4-H. It's like, it stinks like piss in here. You walk 20 feet, it smells like mini donuts. It's like,
you had mini donuts?
Oh, dude, yeah, we had fucking 3 or 4 little. Bro, Botano County Fair, oldest county fair in North Dakota. I can't fucking half step. Oh, man.
What was it like growing up somewhere that believed in fun?
Yeah,
what was that like? It sounds great.
I just picture, again, it's just like the back of the moon. I'm even shocked there was a count. I'm surprised it wasn't a 8-day horse ride to get to the closest county fair.
Lisa fed up with the bumper cars after hers doesn't work and Bart knocks her through the wall with his. She sets off to go home. She's sad because Bart ruined this all for her. And she gets home and the beach kids are gluing seashells all over the Simpsons station wagon and it spells out Lisa rules. Which she really appreciates and Homer does not. Homer comes running out of the house like, what the hell, my car? While Lisa's having this really sweet moment.
If I had a child and they participated in that act and that man beat my child, I just nod. That's an acceptable reaction to this activity.
You'd be fine with that.
Yep. That kid needed a paddling.
The Simpsons load up in the car and head out. Lisa having learned, I guess, to be herself. A good Lisa episode. Yep. I like a Lisa episode. I love a good Lisa episode.
Yeah. Bart kind of redeems himself by having them all the kids sign the yearbook. So yeah, it was I like when things go well for Lisa.
I forget her name, but like the main girl in the group of beach friends there, played by Christina Ricci.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Who has been the most perfect, most attractive human being in the world since I was about 9 years old.
You think so? That is fascinating. She's a pretty lady.
Adore Christina Ricci.
She's a unique-looking woman,
little.
and I appreciate uniqueness.
You can just put her in your pocket.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I mean, I didn't assume she was a brute. But
you didn't think she was 6'4"?
Yeah. I think she got like a D1 volleyball scholarship.
Oh, God. Yeah, I have loved Christina Ricci since Wednesday Addams.
I know a lot of guys are really into her. Not the more I think about it. Like, she's definitely some guys that is really very unique looking. And I say that as a compliment. Like, you don't see many Christina Ricci lookalikes in movies. Like,
yeah. No, she's adorable. So it was cool to see her in this. I was like, that's Christina Ricci's voice.
You know what? I was going to ask if you fapped to it, but I'm not going to do that. That's not information I need.
I appreciate that.
Hey, yeah. So I guess this is growing up. Speaking of growing up, Marlin, we're into a new season.
Boom. Season 8.
Season 8. It's the fall of 1996. Picture it. Oh, man. Draped in flannel. Acne is troublesome at this point in my life. I shouldn't say that. There's kids that had it way worse. I was probably like on the, 1 to 5 Richter scale, 1 to 10 Richter scale of acne, I was a 4. There were some kids that were 9s, you know.
Oh, yeah. I was one of the 9s. It hit me like a fucking train in about sophomore year.
And you know, I can see that with like just your natural complexion. There's just some people that have that complexion that it just, I don't know, man. Like super pasty guys like me sometimes can get by without being too bad. My brother had it really bad. He kind of would resemble you in that like skin tone way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was. It didn't hit till I was probably a sophomore in high school, but when it hit hard. It was like. Yeah. It was like someone started a fire on my face and then tried to put it out with a Phillips screwdriver.
Oh, yeah. Mine was could have been way worse for as little effort as I put into just, you know, every morning wash your face with a bar of soap that everyone else washed their asshole with. That was my skincare regimen.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Yeah. I guess I had some of those like caustic pads that was just like pure alcohol.
Oh, this hurts.
Yeah, that's how you know it works. Mm-hmm. I had a couple buddies that didn't get acne at all. It's like, Jesus, like, how do you rank?
Yeah, you think you're better than me?
Yep. God, there was a kid that had like a boil on his nose that was like covered in whiteheads that were peppered with blackheads. It was just like sore on top of cyst on top of just like I want to just grab that and pop it for you. It's like, God, why are you not doing like? I don't give a fuck if it scars. It's scarring us emotionally. Get rid of it.
Find the nearest box cutter and solve that for you.
Jesus Christ.
This age, when this came out, fall of '96, I'd have been 11, so I was far from that.
You're a good age, you know. You're a good age at 11. You're not completely hopeless. You can wipe your own ass, but your nuts haven't dropped, so you're not dry humping everything. Like
exactly, you nailed it. You wrapped it up with a nice little bow.
Your peak childhood is what you are for a parent. I bet like. You're just not losing your mind, but you're capable of doing it. You can fucking make a bowl of cereal, unless you're some half-ass kid. That's the parent's fault. You gotta have your kids making your own cereal by that point.
No, I figure I was. This would have been what, like 6th grade? Are you 11 in 6th grade? I think
you turned 12 in the 6th grade, so exactly.
Yeah, so this would have been early 6th grade. Nothing remarkable comes to mind about 6th grade. So
I was, besides having my nuts drop, that was the biggest part. I went from being a nice little boy to humping everything. 6th grade.
This was like 6th grade. The way our school was laid out, it was K through 6 in one building and 7 through 12 in the other building. So 6th grade, you were the kings of that building. Yeah. You know, you were the seniors of that building. So it was like there was a level of Italian mafioso sort of respect being had.
And just the lack of stress of knowing there's no older kids to bully you, kind of. That was a big thing too. 6th grade was like that for us. We were the oldest kids in our part of the school too.
But a nagging fear in the back of your mind that next year might be a nightmare.
Yep. Fuck yeah. That was, you knew that, that I am now at the bottom of the pecking, and I'm old enough that bullying and all the worst shit was still a big part of our society. And let's see. So I was going into the 11th grade. I was a junior in high school. I was months away from rolling. I just rolled my first vehicle that I ever owned. So I was riding the school bus.
I thought you were going to say joint.
Yeah. So yeah, I had rolled my first vehicle, riding the school bus. Not a big fan of that when you're 17 in a small town. Not cool at all.
How did you manage your vehicular accident?
I was driving.
Drunk?
It didn't involve alcohol, which is I owned that pickup for 6 weeks before I rolled it, and I had like 3 close calls involving alcohol in that 6 weeks. But no, this was middle of a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. I was driving out to a kid's house to play paintball. That was a thing I was getting into, and I was on I can still picture the road. It was kind of loose gravel road, and like an idiot, I'm driving too fast. And I was looking for some sunglasses because I still wore contacts back then. And I'm fucking looking and not paying attention. I look up and there's a semi coming. We're going to meet at the crossroads. And both fucking driving way too fast. I, like an idiot, just tromp on the fucking binders. All of a sudden my ass end is just losing it on the loose gravel. And I'm like, fucking, and I overcorrect. Right when I think I finally got it on the straight and narrow and we're going down again, I'm just sliding into the ditch too far. And I just feel the fucking just boom, boom. I'm upside down. I'm like sitting there, shut my pickup off. Like, God damn it. No, it should have been like, holy shit, you're alive. Like you didn't get flung out the window. But yeah. And then I remember I was, man, you want to say a 1996 sentence? I was trying out a friend of mine's Discman because I was going to buy it from him because I didn't have the money for an in-dash CD player. I had that cassette adapter.
Fuck yeah.
And I remember I was probably out for a second or two, just probably hit my head pretty hard. And I just kind of came to upside down in a pickup and I looked. The Discman was resting by my head on the roof of the pickup because we were upside down. And Soundgarden's Down on the Upside, it was their last studio album, was in the CD player. And I was like, that thing didn't skip. It's like, I mean, if this is a different circumstance, I would buy that CD player with confidence.
Yeah, the anti-skip on that one's amazing.
Yeah, we just like a life-altering car wreck, and I can still hear Chris Cornell like nothing happened.
Man, the cassette tape adapter, if you locked me in a room with that thing and told me the only way I'll ever see my family again is if I can accurately explain how that works,
Yep.
like from a technological standpoint of how does that make CD sound come out, I would say I hope I said goodbye to them.
Can I tell my mom I love her one last time before you lock that door? It's a pretty good shot. This is it. Like,
because that may as well be magic. Like a portable CD player and then a wire with a cassette on the other end.
Yep.
That may as well be, that's fucking wizardry.
that cost $20.
Yeah.
It's not like this was a $400 piece of... You could buy it at a truck stop. Like, yeah, I haven't really thought of it. None of it. A cassette has moving parts, like a tape. Like, yeah, how does any of that work? Very good point.
Like a cassette with a wire and then a headphone jack on the other end that goes into a CD player. I dare anyone to sit me down and explain how that works.
That's I never really thought of that before. That's a very good point. So it's 1996. I am now riding the bus again. Oh, but I was about to start a job carrying out groceries at Jerry's Jack and Jill, one of Botano's 2 grocery stores at the time. A job I would have for nearly 4 years and made a lot of good friends at that job. So yeah, that was a big part of my adolescence. It was like a teenage boy job. I loved it because you got plenty of hours, but you didn't have to work late at night. You were done at like 6 on Saturday. So great for, burgeoning alcoholics. Didn't really infect your party time at all. But yeah, I mean, it should have. Because we had to work at like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays. I would show up to work fucking 2 hours of sleep. It's probably still drunk and then viciously hungover. And I mean, you would be dragging, but you'd still put in a decent... I'd be in the fucking ER if I tried to do that now. Like,
that's
God,
the thing. You were 17. You could drink like that.
Yeah, fucking teenage blood. Like, no wonder weird rich people like drink that shit. Like, there is something to it, man. Like, oh, goodness. Yeah. Good times. As for The Simpsons, they are now entrenched into their Sunday time slot, which I think they're probably going to be for the rest of the next 30 years. And as for shows they were paired with, because that's been a common theme where we discuss what they were paired with, because Simpsons was the bell cow. That was the big moneymaker for Fox. So put something else with it. Hopefully it'll succeed. That's a common practice in network television. This time they had 2 different shows this 96-97 television season. The first was a show called Ned and Stacy. Ned, and they pushed the shit out of it because I didn't have Fox as a kid and I knew about this show because they would advertise it.
I've never heard of it.
in print. They would advertise, because by this time I think Fox had won the NFC football rights. That's when that weird time in Western North Dakota when you'd be watching CBS and just a abrupt cut would happen and they would bootleg run in the Fox Vikings telecast for the football game and then cut right back to fucking win, lose, or draw reruns or whatever the hell they were showing on CBS at that time. So yeah, they pushed the shit out of it. It was a total Friends clone. That was a big thing at this point. They're ripping off Friends, I believe. Probably a little Seinfeld ripoff too, because it's like Ned was Thomas Hayden Church, who was kind of hot coming off of Wings. He had a bit role in Wings as Noel, I think, the dim-witted yet lovable mechanic. Yep.
Yeah.
And he, some kind of wacky not fish out of water, like a relationship. Like, I think he had to marry Stacy so he didn't lose his job or something like that. And like, oh, will they or won't they? That kind of thing. And Stacy was played by Deborah Messing, who would go on to great fame and great might be good fame in Will and Grace.
Oh, okay, sure.
And they tried, man. I think they gave it 1.5 years and then they pushed and just never caught on. I don't think critics liked it and the audiences didn't tune in. And its last dying, they liked it so much they gave it another try after one failed season, which is rare. Man, you fuck up once, it's usually over. Oftentimes, you don't even get a full season. They end you in mid-season.
Like the poor It's Gary Shandling's show.
Yep, exactly. So they got the first few months of that TV season. Then they finally mercifully pulled the plug on it. And the next show that they started airing, King of the Motherfucking Hill, debuted in January 97. So, I mean, Martin was a hit, but this is by far the biggest hit that ever got paired with The Simpsons. Like, King of the Hill was on for like a dozen seasons. It was, King of the Hill was huge. Like, I mean, I don't think it was ever like top ratings, but I mean, it was successfully successful. Like, it was how many shows had that long of a run on network TV? It's pretty short list.
I forget that King of the Hill is that old.
Yeah, and that's something that it was on a long time. And I
don't think I knew it was on Fox either. I've only seen probably 5 episodes of that show.
I would say I've seen like 60% of the King of it, because it got that long run in reruns on Adult Swim in the mid-aughts, and I watched a ton of it then. And
that's where most of
show.
my watching it would have come from.
Yep. The thing, I think we've discussed this before, the thing I find the most fascinating, it's a show that if it wasn't animated, I don't think it'd lose a lot. How many shows can you say that? Like, they're drawn fairly realistically. There's not a whole lot that's unrealistic. Like,
yeah, there's not like outlandish shit happening in that show.
I mean, like The Simpsons, but they just look like cartoons. Like, Hank Hill just looks like someone tried to draw a middle-aged man as best he could, you know? Mm-hmm. I guess there is the grandpa character who lost his shins in the war. Be tough to, like, I mean, like, fuck, man. You know, Tim Conway played fucking, what's his name? For, like, what was Tim Conway's character where he just had his shoes, like, taped to his thighs and he'd toddle around?
Oh, I forget. I haven't seen a whole bunch of that show.
Yeah, but he had his own videos. That was kind of shit they'd advertise on commercial breaks on Hee Haw. Duff goes bowling. Oh, look at him. He's too short to bowl. Episode 1 of Season 8 is Treehouse of Terror Part 7.
It is still horror.
Horror. Are you sure?
Absolutely positive, yeah.
Positive? Okay, well, I agree to disagree. That's what we'll have to do.
That's not how that phrase works, but okay.
Tomato, tomato. That's what I say about this. One thing, I think this begins maybe not a tradition, but a fairly common practice of The Simpsons starting a little bit later in the traditional network TV schedule. Usually shows start mid-September. Mm-hmm. They didn't start till the end of October, hence why we're kicking off with the Treehouse of Horror, I guess, to pacify certain listeners.
Yes, the ones with the facts. Yes.
One thing I like about this, or interesting, real simple, quick intro.
There's a quick scene of Homer setting himself on fire, lighting a jack-o'-lantern, and then like they do the couch gag with the Grim Reaper where they all run in and die, and we're just into it.
And then dive right in. The first episode, or first again 3-part, which seems to be the template for all the Treehouse of Horror. The first short is. And this one doesn't. Sometimes some seasons they have an overarching story to tie them all together. This one doesn't.
No, just shorts.
Yep, jumps right into the Thing and I. The premise is kind of that there's something in the attic, and it's super spooky, and obvious that Marge and Homer are hiding something, and the kids keep hearing something rumbling around up there. And at one point we see Homer goes, "It's your turn," and he has a bucket full of fish heads, which, understandably so sets off some alarms in the kids' heads. Yeah. They go investigate, and they find some hideous thing living up there, which Marge and Homer walk in at the same time, and during that time, that thing uses it as a chance to escape. And it turns out that thing is Bart's conjoined twin that they lopped off and kept hidden in the basement because it was an evil baby, and they knew it would become an evil man. So just chained it up and fed it fish heads for some insane reason.
Yep, change it in the attic because there was an evil twin and a good twin when they were born conjoined, and they just put it in the attic like the deformed Kennedy kids. Just hide them.
Yeah. I would think, I don't know, maybe their Catholicism gets in the way of it, but I think they would just ice those kids. Maybe not, though. Yeah. And I thought this is probably a plot twist that's been used in an actual horror movie. I like that it turned out that Bart was actually the evil twin.
Yeah, because Dr. Hibbert shows up and kind of saves the day, and then notices the placement of their scars from when they're separated, and is like, "Wait, that means that the evil one was Bart all along."
Yeah,
I did like that extra little twist at the end.
And I like the fact that, like, I thought that'd just be like, "Oh, that explains everything," but no, they changed. They realized the error of their ways, and they start raising. What's the kid's name?
Hugo.
Hugo is an accepted part of the family. Now Bart lives in the attic.
Yep.
They're eating dinner, and you just see Bart peering through the air duct vent, like, "Can I have some?" It's like, "We'll bring you your fish heads in a moment."
Yeah, they have Bart locked in the attic.
Yeah.
Pretty simple little short one, but I enjoyed that one.
Yep. I enjoyed the second one too. The Genesis tub. Lisa is in the middle of putting together some kind of science fair experiment, and she wants to show what'll happen if a tooth is left in soda pop. Because she knows that, to prove that soda once and for all, sugary drinks will rot teeth.
I love her reasoning that she's like talking to herself of like, we have all the scientific data on smoking and eating red meat, but I can still ruin soda pop for people.
Yep. Just a killjoy.
Yeah.
And I love that Bart's science fair experiment is just rubbing a balloon against his head. Just static electricity. And that got me thinking, that's the kind of thing you don't realize, but like at some point in time, you, for the last time, rubbed a balloon against your head to create static. That's the kind of shit you did weekly when you were 7 years old. When was the last time you owned a balloon?
It's been a while, now that I think about it.
Like, I bet if you have kids, you do, but like, it's like, I haven't blown a balloon up in fucking 18 years. Oh, man. But Bart rubs the balloon against his head and has a good time shocking Lisa, which is a thing you do when you have little siblings. You discover the joys of static electricity. And he also peers into the science experiment and accidentally shocks the tooth. And nothing was thought of it until the next day. Lisa looks with her magnifying glass and sees that there's like small forms of life forming from... And she's like, oh, look at that. There's like a colony of some kind of lower life form. And to her surprise, it just keeps evolving at a rapid pace to the point they are beyond human technology. Like they have,
they have like a sci-fi utopia world in this tub.
And they have spaceships that could fly out of the tub and go attack Bart in his sleep because they know he's the guy that at one point jammed his finger in there and destroyed half of their civilization. And they also invent a shrinking ray. They're able to shrink Lisa down in size to have her be in the tub, or they worship her as a god.
Yeah, and think that and they're like shocked that Bart is her brother. Like they think Bart is the devil because and with good reason because he stuck his finger in there and fucked a bunch of shit up.
Yeah. So it becomes kind of a battle of Lisa keeping them alive while Bart is trying to destroy them. And while Lisa is shrunk, they have no defense, so they're left up to Bart. And Bart does come eventually, and they're helpless against it. And you think, okay, this is getting flushed down the toilet, Lisa along with them. But what ends up happening is Bart takes it to school, and he gets first place for the science fair.
Yeah, just takes credit for the work as his own.
I like how Principal Skinner just immediately tells groundskeeper Willie just to throw away the other experiments.
Yeah. One of them being I think it's Martin's milk box mandolin or something like that, ukulele.
Yeah, it's a great sight gag of him playing that song on it.
And then it's just like Lisa sitting on her throne, stuck there forever, and is bored.
And just wants someone to make her shoes.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it. I do like early on when she's watching them in the magnifying glass and she sees what they're doing and how they're advancing. And someone's nailing a list of demands to a church door. And she's like, I just created Lutherans.
Yep, that was very funny. I liked the first time she looks in the tub and sees that they're kind of sci-fi-ish, that they're advanced. It was kind of what I thought was the first look at what was kind of the Futurama aesthetic. Because they have, the tubes carrying them all over the place.
Very good point.
Pneumatic tubes with people in them. Like, that, I noted that of, this is kind of the first I've thought of this, or I've seen kind of a Futurama aesthetic in The Simpsons.
We are not too far away from the debut of Futurama.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
And that's what, 99-ish?
That sounds right. Yeah, because, the first episode is New Year's on 99. The eve of Y2K is the first episode of Futurama.
So that's kind of how it ends. We don't really have just Lisa's still their god. She's not too thrilled about it. And we go on to the final short, Citizen Kang, where we get Kang and Kodos, the slobbering, tentacled aliens, abduct Homer while he's fishing. And there's a great sight gag where it's almost like the crane game from a carnival.
Yeah.
Where you got to reach down, the chain lets loose, and it's hard to do, and Homer gets dropped once, which happens at every crane game because they're a con. And he does get in there, and he's not going to get probed. He's very worried about getting probed to the point he just drops trow to get it over with. And they let him know they have exhausted all the probing possibilities.
Yeah, they are. They've learned all they can.
Yeah, and so what they want is world domination. So they want to be taken to the leader of the world. And then Homer points out at this time, well, there's an election, so we kind of don't really have one right now. It's up in the air. So they decide they abduct Bill Clinton and Bob Dole, who were running for president at that time. And man, there is nothing more mid-90s than a Bob Dole-centric episode. Dude, still alive, as far as I know. He's got to be tickling 100, but I think he's still with us.
Man, no way. Really?
Yep, I'm almost sure he was at McCain's funeral and George Sr.'s funeral. Pretty sure he's wheelchair bound. I think he is still with us.
Holy shit! You're right. He's 97 years old.
He was old when he ran for president. I remember that was they were talking about him being too old. He's younger than Trump and what's his name was at that and Biden.
Yeah.
At that time, yeah. Well, yeah, he'd have been 74, 73.
Well, they even make reference to it here where, for whatever reason, whoever's introducing him at one of those speeches in this episode introduces him as 73-year-old candidate Bob Dole.
Yeah. That's great. Dude, total GOP shill. Not a big fan of his work, but hell of a World War II hero. The stories of him. That's why he was always clutching a pen, is because one of his arms is shot. That's why one arm's always at his side holding that pen, because that one got blown to bits in Europe.
Oof.
I guess he got blown to bits so bad that a medic found him and it's like, well, this would be a waste of time and resources, so I'm gonna dope him up and hopefully he dies peacefully. And he's like, well, right before he left, he stuck a finger in a bullet hole and put a big red M on Dole's forehead. So just in case he somehow wasn't dead in half an hour, that the next medic that found him realized that he's already doped up on morphine and doesn't need any more. And sure enough, like 2 hours later, he came to and like crawled to safety and found someone to patch him up. And here he is, still alive 80 years later. So
what'll never cease to amaze me is that people hear stories like that and can still be pro-war.
Yep. But it makes so much money, Marlin.
Yeah, it does.
Your Raytheon stocks will stagnate if we don't blow up more people.
I don't have any of those, though, so I don't really see
okay, your McDonnell Douglas stocks.
I don't...
Well, you invested heavily in Boeing. Oh, that makes total sense. Okay.
No, not
or perhaps
that
a Halliburton man. I like it.
No. Or DuPont. Before you say DuPont. No, not DuPont either.
Okay. Well, you're fucked then, I guess. Because this is how empires crumble. They just go to war forever. So, well, guess gonna get... Yeah. So, yeah, well, that was fun. So they abduct Bob Dole and Bill Clinton and are going to impersonate them so they can run the country and run them directly into, slaughter at the hands of their alien overlords.
Yeah, because they're out to conquer us.
Yep. So they take over, or they abduct Bob Dole and Bill Clinton, and they are able to make skin suits that look just like them, and they go on the campaign trail, and they barely understand what it's like to be human because they're still, militaristic monsters, which, the main joke is, somehow yet the American people are still dense enough to want to support one or the other.
Yep.
I do like how someone finally points out that they always hold hands when they're in public.
Yep. And then, when they get confronted, they're like, we're exchanging protein strains. If you can think of a better way, I'm all ears.
Yeah, which is great. And they're both running, and that's all the debates make no sense because they're both kind of just, which in real life, Bill Clinton was a Republican. He was, he's one of the main reasons the Democratic Party is just Republican light now.
But Nathan, he had that saxophone.
He loved that sax. Hated the kind of people that would play the sax because he wants them in prison for the rest of their lives. But yeah. And then Homer realizes he has to let people know. No one believes him, so he somehow gets back up. He finds the spaceship very conveniently hidden under some shrubs.
Yep, in a bush.
Yeah, and takes off. And he's like, "Okay, we gotta get you." He gets Bob Dole and Bill Clinton out of their cryo tubes. I'm gonna get you down there, and you're gonna set the world straight. He accidentally instead of releasing them into the spaceship, he releases them into space where they presumably perish.
Yep, jettisons them into the cold vacuum of space.
It's like 2 babies just floating dead in space, like, naked in the fetal position.
Yeah.
So he decides he has to do it on his own, and he just decides to burst in and let everyone know it's a sham. And then it just, he pulls off their skin. He gets the drop on them.
Yeah.
And everyone sees that that's what they are. And because Americans are dumb, the 2-party system really getting ran through the roughshod here. And hey, 1996 Simpsons writers, it only got worse. Now it's all shit all the time.
Yeah.
That's all we get is one ghoul. Which ghoul do you prefer more?
Man, the moment where he exposes them and they're both like, yeah, but you still have to vote for one of us because it's a 2-party system. And some guy in the crowd is like, I'm going to vote for a 3rd party. And everyone laughs, and Ross Perot takes off his hat and punches it.
Yeah. That would be throwing your vote away. So we'll vote for enslavement.
Perfect.
Don't blame me. I voted for Kodos.
Yeah, Kang wins. And they've enslaved the human race. And Homer is like, I voted for Kodos.
Yep.
Holy shit, there's a nothing joke earlier in that short that made me laugh so fucking hard for no reason when they first put Bob Dole and Bill Clinton in those tubes. As soon as they drop Bob Dole in the tube, he looks up and goes, what is this, some kind of tube? I was fucking howling at how funny that was.
There was a scene where where that tractor beam took Bill Clinton out of the White House, and he's in his bed. He's like waking up all grog. He's like, "Is it noon already?"
Yep, got to make those jokes that Democrats don't do anything.
Yeah, that was the thing when Bill Clinton, before we saw what he became, he was more teased for being chubby and lazy.
Yeah,
and then we just found out he's like a sexual predator.
Yeah, a shitbag. Yeah.
The things he was accused of became much darker.
Yeah. But started out with some real light bullying. And it's like, we had no idea, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Trash monster goblin human, Bill Clinton.
Episode 2 of Season 8 is You Only Move Twice. For very first note, motherfucking chalkboard gag is back.
Yeah, been very infrequent.
Yeah, we haven't seen the chalkboard gang in a long time, and we got the whole, the long version of the intro for these last 2 episodes. It was kind of nice to see. Kind of like, oh yeah, I remember this. I remember these times. We start with Smithers being headhunted by Globex, some company that wants to give him a job, and he's not having it because Smithers loves Mr. Burns.
In many ways.
He's even singing a song to himself about I work for Mr. Burns. He's so jaunty in his little hat. So they decide, well, he turned us down. Who's the next person in line at the old power plant? And they said, well, with 10 years experience, it is Homer Simpson. And he takes the job without bringing it up to the family or anything. Just lets them know that they're going to be moving to Cypress Creek, which is a completely planned community for people who work at Globex. Man,
planned communities are trippy. There's a couple of them in North Dakota that were planned in the 40s and 50s just to house the people that built Garrison Dam.
Really?
Yep. And that's something it's why does this say, established 1950? That doesn't make any sense. It's I guess it does. It's just a government planned town.
That's so fucking weird.
Yep. I think it's Riverdale. And another one that sounds like a made up town name. I can't remember which one it is, but
another one that sounds like it's from Archie Comics.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That could be in any state.
Like Springfield.
Yep. Shelbyville.
I always I I've never been around any or anything like that, but I always kind of like the idea of the completely planned town. I think of the same thing with like military bases, where it's like, yeah, here's the school and here's here's all the houses. They all look the same. Like, I always think of like that 1950s like nuclear testing kind of aesthetic to those places. Because the government didn't build a bunch of fancy nice houses. They built a bunch of square ones that all look the same.
I get the same vibe from like suburbs. Like, I remember the first time I moved away from here and it was in Minneapolis, and I was just like, well, where's the downtown here? It's like, there isn't one.
Yeah.
Like, this town was built 30 years ago. It's just houses and commercial strips of like Target and, AutoZone and shit. Like, there's no history here. This is all planned out.
Just copy paste houses and strip malls. Yeah.
But then I find it fascinating when you run in, like around Minneapolis, at least, the occasional suburb that 110 years ago was a city or a tiny town. So there is still, like, I think Hopkins is one of those. Like, there's a downtown. Like,
that was the first place that came to my mind was Hopkins.
They just kind of got sucked into this urban sprawl. So I'm sure there's a handful of those where there's a few old buildings. Like, I don't feel comfortable in towns that don't have at least a couple abandoned, shitty old buildings. Like, no one should grow up with zero threat of asbestos poisoning. Should always be a little asbestos in the air.
Keep the number low, but don't let it get to zero. Yeah.
We don't need a generation to get wiped out. But
Hopkins has a nice little downtown. That's where the Comedy Theater is.
Yeah, it was.
Did that not make it?
Yep, see at the Crossroads, Hopkins Theater.
The Royal Comedy Theater in Hopkins. With a hell of a good brewery right across from it the last time I was down there, which was probably 4 fucking years ago now. But they try to sell the house, but really no one's biting, and it's kind of falling apart. So they just nail a board across it that says abandoned and leave.
I like how they're selling the Simpsons house as a dump. So that's a pretty baller house.
And I think they know that, so they had to add things like the chimney falling over in this episode.
Yeah, a 4-bedroom, I think 2-bath house, maybe just 1 bath, attached garage. I think you're doing all right, Simpsons.
Definitely at least 2 bath, because there's a master bath and a bathroom.
Very good point. Very good point. It is 2 bath, yeah.
So, it's a fucking nice house. The dining room alone is nice and big. Like,
yeah, especially for that era. I love when you like OG houses from like the late 1800s, early 1900s, and the fucking bathroom is 4 feet by 4 feet. The kitchen is 5 feet by 5 feet, but the goddamn dining room is 10 by 12.
Yeah, you gotta fit a table in it.
Yep. Big families, they all gotta be able to sit down and eat together, like.
Also, doesn't the Simpson house have 2 living rooms now that I think of it? Because there's the one where they always sit like they do in the intro, and then they have that other one where the couch is in the middle of the room. Those are 2 different rooms, right?
Oh,
where the fireplace is?
I can't picture it now. Did they discuss a rompus room at some point? Early on?
I think that was Ned's rumpus room.
That's what it is. And there isn't a finished basement, so
yep,
I think
unfinished basement.
I think that might just be a little Simpsons playing fast and loose with the physics of that house. I'm guessing it's just 1 living room would be my guess.
I'm sure with the tenacity and size of the Simpsons fan base, I'm sure someone has the answer for us.
Built schematics of the Simpson house.
Mm-hmm. There's people who have definitely built an accurate Simpsons house from Lego.
Yeah. That's very chillingly lonely men.
We get to Cypress Creek. I keep wanting to say Cypress Hill. We get to Cypress Creek, and we meet Homer's new boss, Hank Scorpio, who is amazing.
Yep. Who's he voiced by? I'm sure I missed it.
Albert Brooks.
Okay. Great name.
It took me the entire time to figure out whose voice that was.
Yeah. Now that you say it, makes total sense.
He's so good and kind of before his time. This is 1996, and to me, he screams like current Silicon Valley work culture,
Yeah.
of like, don't call me boss, don't call it work, anything you need, I'm here.
There was, it's kind of early for it, but there was like a late 90s, more late 90s, like right when the .com bubble was growing. Like, oh man, all these 22-year-olds are billionaires and have their giant businesses. And I remember like that's kind of part of this plot line of Drew Carey. Is he gets a boss that's like that or goes to work for a company that's like that. That would have been more early aughts probably. But yeah, that was definitely a late 90s thing. But 96, it's kind of ahead of its time then.
Yeah, the t-shirt boss, you know what I mean? Like, I think of that now. Or, in the .com bubble. But I was like, this is a little early, but this guy is great. Because holy shit, is this guy great.
That first interaction when he goes, ever seen a guy say goodbye to a shoe? And Homer chuckles and says yes once.
Yeah.
God damn it, I was laughing. Like that's a normal interaction.
I love everything, his fast talking demeanor, his like super positivity, like just, hey, you like these moccasins? If you do, there's some upstairs. If not, I'm gonna throw them away, and takes them off and just hucks them out into the street. Holy shit. And then, gotta go, I'm in the middle of a fun run, and puts his number on and goes trotting away. Oh my god, I was 100% in on Hank Scorpio from word fucking one.
And maybe I'm just a dum-dum, but I didn't see the curve of him being like an evil like mastermind. Or was I not supposed to see that? I guess I just oh no shit. Like
I didn't see it until he has that telecall with like the UN. Yeah. So if I was supposed to catch it before then, I sure fucking didn't.
Yeah, maybe we weren't.
I'm going to assume that we weren't and that we're not dum-dums.
Yeah, we're just totally not dum-dums.
I love that the house is like completely automated. Robot vacuum, self-cleaning stove, and I love the like Marge kind of fucking losing it without having housework to do.
Just that hollow-eyed wine drinking, which I think that is a thing in a lot of upper middle class households where the kids are not babying age anymore, so mom's bored.
Mm-hmm. I think that's where a lot of like wine mom culture comes from.
Yep, you either start boredom. You either start selling protein shakes to your friends, or you start taking weird dick, or you start drinking wine all day. You got like 3 avenues to choose from.
Top them off all 3. Sell some weird saran wrap that's supposed to make you skinny, and
I forgot about the wraps. Yeah,
bang the fucking pool boy and slam home some fucking wine all day.
Someone has probably did some kind of like sociological study and gotten a doctorate degree on why do those mid-level marketing schemes seem to almost always be women. I mean, not always. I mean, Amway made $1 bazillion. That involved men too, but so much of the Facebook friends I have, it is 20-1 women to men that I see peddling that shit.
Yeah,
I wonder what it is.
I don't know what the reason is. I think that's probably definitely who it's aimed at. So part of it is probably just that plan working.
Yeah. I'd love to know why that's, and it's not like, I think maybe back in the day it was because you were a homemaker, so you legit didn't have, like, I know plenty of women that do this that have their own jobs too. Like, it's not like they're just sitting at home watching the paint dry. This is like a side hustle. Like, and man, does it all screams scam to me.
Yeah.
It just fucking screams.
To the point where you want to be like, no, what are you doing?
Like, fuck off. This is like a dick move.
Yeah. Like what? But I mean, that's how that's That's the model. That's how it's supposed to work, is you just convince someone that they should do this, and then, like, social norms being what they are, you as the third party are supposed to buy it from your friend because they're your friend.
It's like, if this product was good, you wouldn't have to come to me to sell it for you.
Yeah, I could just go get it at a store or something.
Yeah. Like, Starbucks doesn't fucking send you out to a seminar to teach you how to grind beans. No, man, they just fucking hire you.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't get it. It's always, I mean, I do get it. I did it once. I was 7. Like, I got lured in by the ad out of the back of a Boys Life cat magazine.
Yeah, so, they convinced you it was going to be some fucking stellar life of selling Boys Life.
Yeah, it was Olympia Sales Club. Like, I might have discussed it on an earlier podcast, and it was a fucking sham. I sold overpriced stationery to my grandmother so I could buy a bicycle radio that never worked.
Perfect.
Yeah, great. Man,
go ahead.
I do not understand. It's a mystifying thing, the mid-level marketing.
Yeah, especially now that, like, the jig is up. We all know that this is a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, fucking wild, man.
Homer's work at Globex is amazing. Like, everything about it, and anytime Hank Scorpio's on screen, everything is so fucking great. Homer is there basically just to motivate the 3 guys who are doing all the work.
And they're some self-starting people already, so they don't need a lot of encouragement.
Mm-hmm. They don't need Homer there. But it's important we get the nuclear reactor finished by such and such a day. Bart is in his new school and can't read cursive.
Yeah. Man, is it a wild to think that, like, my nephews are probably never going to learn about cursive? And
that's unacceptable.
No, bro, I'm just going to say, thank God.
Fuck you.
How much fucking mental fucking hardware was wasted on me to teach me how to fucking learn cursive, which I've never used in 20 fucking years since.
That blows my mind. I fucking
spent so much time on that shit. It's endless. Like, what are we doing? Like,
so when you sit down to write something, are you printing like a fucking child?
Like a grown man.
Just with a crayon in your fist?
Little Lord Fauntleroy with your ink quill.
Oh my God, it's so fluid and nice. No. Oh my God. Like, we should frankly just cut out printing and only teach cursive from kindergarten.
They have gotten rid of it for a reason. It is past. It's for powdered wigs and dentures made out of horse teeth.
Oh my God, you fucking.
Hey, it ain't me, brother. It is the American education system is putting cursive in the dustbin of history.
But you're sitting here cheerleading it. You are part of the problem.
Oh, I am. I hate and it doesn't look pretty when you can't write for shit to begin with. My printing looks like shit. Imagine what my cursive looked like.
Everybody's printing looks like shit. Everybody's printing all looks like a child did it because it's children's writing.
So that meant my cursive was is ineligible. No, that's not the right word.
Well, listen.
Illegible.
You being bad at something isn't cursive's fault. It's yours. Take some responsibility. This is like if you were bad at free throws trying to blame free throws.
And I think it'd be like being bad at free throws if I didn't play basketball and we spent a semester working on free throws. It's like, damn it could have been used. I don't even know how to do long division anymore. We should have spent more time on that.
I, from now on, am only corresponding with you through handwritten notes in cursive.
Dipped ink, yeah. You mail it back unread if I write it in pencil.
I'm not kidding you, there is a fountain pen less than 10 feet from me right now.
I actually owned one too, but I got into when I was into being an artist. And I was into drawing comic book art. I used to try to ink my own shit.
How'd that go?
Nah, I'm not an inker. I don't understand like the depth. Like
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like I can do pencil and I can do color and nothing in between.
Yeah, I'm all pencil. I'm not even color because we've discussed my my issues.
Oh yeah,
telling colors apart.
Oh yeah, I forget.
The Lord smited me, so I will never be a color guy.
I forget that you're colorblind.
But when you used to put a pencil in my hand, I was shitting and getting.
So Bart is one of these animals who doesn't know how to read cursive, and gets put in the remedial classes with the trouble-causing kids.
Just like some real troubling types too. Like
they're all like going around the table saying what they did wrong to get put in remedial school, and one of them is just like, "I start fires." It's like, oh Jesus, okay,
yeah.
Probably spoke to you, I'd imagine, being a young fire delinquent.
Yeah,
like
I think
you
mine
were.
was usually more sociable fire. There's a level of fire setting that even a young me would have been like, "Hoo boy." I remember a couple kids coming through the Botno school system that's just like, yeah, he's gonna get to that level of trouble I don't really want to dabble in.
There's difference between like firebugs and arsonists. It's like a guy.
Yeah.
It's the difference of like a guy catcalling on the street and a guy being an actual sexual assailant. Like,
yep, very good point.
Like,
very good
yes,
point.
those go in the same folder. Yes, neither of them are okay, but those are not the same.
There needs to be a divider between the two.
Yeah, same folder, different file. They are walking around like the promenade, and they go past a sports collection shop, and one of the fucking items for sale is a baseball made out of Secretariat, which is the funniest fucking joke I got out of maybe this whole batch. I laughed so hard at baseball made from Secretariat. Marge also not finding any luck out in the yard. She goes out to water the flowers, and all the sprinklers come on and water the flowers for her. So she goes back into the kitchen and sits down and starts drinking wine again with a blank expression on her face. I love watching Marge just crack. Like, if Marge doesn't have busy work to do, she doesn't know what to do with herself.
Cracks quickly. Like, it does not take long.
Yeah, she is losing it and slamming that wine. Lisa likes the nature of all of it out in the woods. It's kind of a wooded area. It looks like the Northwest, but then they tell us at the end that it's in the East, so whatever. But she's like going around talking to animals and everything, and then it turns out horribly allergic to all of them.
Yeah, very. Like, they do a good job with their, fairly basic animation to let us know she is really messed up by all the stuff.
Yeah, red fingertips and red nose and hives. Like, I love that she, like, once she realizes she's allergic to everything, she sees the chipmunk that she saw earlier in the episode and is like, "Oh, Mr. Chipmunk, I'm allergic to everything." And the chipmunk just blows dandelion seeds in her face and runs off.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's about at this point in the episode where we realize that maybe Hank Scorpio is a supervillain. He has a phone call or a telecall, I don't know what you want to call it, with the UN, and like makes some ransom demand and blows up a bridge in the background. And then this is where we get motherfucking James Bond tied to the table doing the Goldfinger laser thing. Yeah. And so Bond is all tied up with Scorpio giving a lecture while Homer's in the background just trying to get the snack machine to take his dollar. And the laser's creeping up on Bond's crotch, and Bond, flicks a quarter into it to divert the beam and breaks loose and goes running for it. And Homer, Scorpio sees it and is like, "Somebody get him." And Homer tackles the guy and is real proud of himself.
Yeah.
And then Scorpio comes up and is like, "Good job, Homer." And he and Homer walk away, and 3 of Scorpio's thugs just surround James Bond on the floor and execute him.
I'm just going to say, just empty a clip. unfortunate and unnecessary amount of bullets.
I love how just cold that was. Just like, good job, Homer. And then they ice James Bond. Back at home, everyone but Homer wants to leave. Bart doesn't like being in the remedial classes, and Lisa's allergic to everything, and Marge is fucking losing her mind.
Yeah, Marge is struggling.
Yeah, so they all want to leave, and we get back to Globex, where all hell has broken loose, and the military is coming in to try to capture Hank Scorpio, and there's gunfights and grenades going off, all the while Homer is just calmly trying to tell Scorpio that
build up the courage.
Yeah, that he is going to have to resign and move back to Springfield. And I love that Scorpio, through all of this, never loses his, like, high-energy, good boss vibe.
Yeah, he takes it so well. Yeah.
Just, well, Homer, honestly, I think you probably need to do what's best for your family. And if you never need anything, you give me a call. Like, he's so understanding while he's wielding a flamethrower fighting back the military. And then, so we all get back to Springfield. Otto has been squatting in the Simpson home for a while.
That's so great.
And then we get a knock at the door, and there's a letter from Scorpio. Earlier, it's mentioned a couple times throughout the episode that Homer's dream is to own the Dallas Cowboys. And some people laughed at him for it. Scorpio told him he should chase that. And the note from Scorpio is like, thank you for everything. It may not be the Dallas Cowboys, but here's a start. And he has gifted Homer the Denver Broncos.
And he's sad about that.
Yeah, Homer's bummed about that.
Yeah.
And I love that, like, not only do they dunk on the Broncos, but by being like, oh, why would I want the Broncos? But, like, all of the animation is them, like, dropping passes and having balls bounce off their helmet rather than catching them. Like, they're just so inept.
Yeah, they were, like, 2 seasons away from winning back-to-back Super Bowls. Like, Denver wasn't bad, I don't believe. Like,
yeah, I didn't think they were that bad before the Super Bowl wins, but apparently they were.
One thing I think that's proved, too, is, my God, did Denver make a mistake switching to their current uniforms. I love the old, big blue helmet with the D on the side, with the horse jumping through the D, with the more red or orange jerseys. I get colors in me. Don't go hand in hand. But I love their old stuff. Just say, this is around the same time the Patriots also went away from their original red, white, and blue look. Both teams made mistakes.
Both of those examples, I prefer the old colors, the new color scheme, but the old logos. If Denver, like when Denver switched to what they are now, like the deeper blue and the different shade of orange, because their original blue and original orange are pretty basic. Like, those would be, in the crayon box, those would be called orange and blue. And now there's like slightly different variations. But I've never liked and continue to not like that horse head logo that they changed the big D for.
Another team, I think, right around the same time that made the switch, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I loved the original creamsicle look.
Oh, fuck that creamsicle look. That orange and white is so gaudy.
I'm not a fan. Same with the Patriots. Like, silver and like pewter type colors. I'm just
Metal
not a fan of them.
tones.
Yep. I don't like those. I like bright. Yeah.
See, I like the Bucks better with the maroon and the pewter, but like, I feel like Denver and Philadelphia and New England, like all around the same time, changed to those new logos, and to me they all look the same. Like they're longer east to west than they are north to south. That, they're oriented that way, and it's like a face that's too long. Like with New England, it's the hat that points backwards. But you know what I mean? They're all like that same flare shape.
Yep.
And
Good point.
I never liked any of them.
Another team, I think it was a little bit down the road and they made the switch, is Philly. I like Philly with just the more basic green and white, but then they mixed in like the silver, which they kind of still have to this day. And that's, I've never have liked their gear as much.
And they too switched to like that kind of that other shade of green. It's not just green. It's like kind of a blue-green, dark green kind of look.
Yeah. Like if you look back to like the early 90s, like Reggie White era Phillies uniforms, I love that shit.
Mm-hmm. Bright green and bright white. And fuck you. That's the whole thing.
I am a Boston Celtics fan. I think they have the nicest jersey in basketball. And that is a lot of white and a lot of green.
I mean, it's no purple and gold, but it'll do. Oh. So I like being a Saints fan. I love the black and gold look. It's the fucking hustler colors, you know?
Yeah, I've always liked Saints have a good look. Always have.
So the Larry Flint color scheme, black and gold.
So we're up to episode number 3, The Homer They Fall.
This is one that I have seen memes of and knew of, but had never seen.
What part did you see the meme of? What am I missing there?
Of Mo angeling Homer up out of the stadium and Tatum looking confused. I've seen that used in meme form.
In the previous episode, I've definitely seen the Marge drinking wine and looking off into space as a meme or a GIF before, too.
I've also seen from that same episode Scorpio like face palming his forehead going, "Why didn't I think of that?"
Oh, really?
I've seen that used as a response to things.
So this episode starts off with the Simpsons in the mall. Oh, one thing I want to say, was that Old West couch gag a new one?
I thought the same thing, but I don't think it was. Like they all hop in and then the couch takes off with gallop sound effects.
Yeah.
I think we've seen that before, but I'm not 100%. It seemed familiar.
And with this, they're in the mall, and holy shit, was I dying at that Bonanza Mall show.
I figured.
I would have killed to have witnessed that. Like, weren't there 3 Indians last year? Jesus, that's depressing. If only Haas and Little Joe and Grandpa Cartwright were here to see it now. Like, everyone's dead. That show was on the air 20 years ago.
I love that one of them, the one joke, the one cracks of, on Bonanza, we were always trying to kill the Cartwrights, but I guess Father Time did it for us. Gets no laughs. Holy shit, I was dying at that joke.
They get awkward silence and they start dancing.
Yep, they play the theme and they start dancing.
Yeah. And what are they at the mall for again?
I think to see that.
Is that
I think that's what they were there for.
And then did they go to kind of like a Sharper Image type store?
Miscellaneous, etc., which is an amazing name for a store.
Yeah, just for people that I don't know. Yeah, they're easily intrigued by silly gimmicks because there's a lot of silly gimmick type things in here. And there's a great scene where, oh man, I just love seeing the comic book guy having to eat someone else's shit when he's trying to return that like magic belt.
I love seeing him out in the wild because he is so not the fucking king of his own world when he's out in public.
So good. And I love the voice. Whoever voiced the Sharper Image cashier he shows up on The Simpsons and plays like kind of like a sarcastic middle-aged man.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good. What does Bart offer him for that belt? Is it $4?
$4.
Just fuck you, comic book guy. You deserve it.
And then like out loud is like, I must retreat to my own comic book store where I give the grief and not receive it, or however he fucking says it. Like just not even trying to hide it.
And it's kind of like a Batman utility belt almost.
Yep.
Like has all sorts of little bells and whistles, and Bart is very proud of it, as I would have been at the age of 10. It's pretty cool. It has blinkers, which is a peculiar choice
for turn signals on his ass.
And, all the kids think it's pretty cool, including the bullies who are just going to take it.
Because Jimbo's belt is a length of extension cord.
Yeah. They want to trade belts? No, thank you. That's not even a real belt. And the bullies catch him, and they beat up Bart pretty good. And you don't see him all knotted up. He's pretty knotted up in this one. Like eye half swollen, and yeah, he ain't doing so hot.
Yeah, he took a beating in that one.
Yeah. And Homer tries to figure out a way to make it work, which is true in real life. It is really tough to fix a bully situation because any way you do it, you're interfering as a parent, and that just means your kid's probably going to take more ass kickings.
Exactly. Nobody wins.
Yep. So Homer tries to talk with the boys' dads, and they are just trash goblins, just like their sons. So three of them stomp and kick Homer, who magically can just take an amazing beating and not seem to be no worse for wear.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I really laughed at the fact that all the bullies' dads look exactly like the bullies.
It's a slightly
but
aged
older.
version.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Bald
I
head.
thought that was funny.
Yep. Swoop haircut guy.
Yep.
And Mo, of course, Mo pulls out that gun and is like, hey, if anyone's going to beat him, it's me. And he notices that Homer can really take an ass kicking. And he lets Homer in on a little secret. His office is the women's room because no one's been in there in 30 years.
Yeah. Once I realized we didn't have any lady customers, I just turned it into my office.
Yeah. And he lets Homer know a secret that he was once a young prize pugilist and, had a little something going for him, but it didn't work out. And alas, now he's a bar owner in Springfield. But he sees Homer as a way to kind of get back into the biz. And the strategy is that, hey, this guy can just take an ass kicking and the other guy will tire himself out. And then, hey, wait for him to and just tip him over.
Yeah,
and we'll win.
Give him a shove and you win.
And what's his first match? Is it against a bum? Is that what it is?
All of his matches in this entire montage that we get is it's all bums. But yeah, Boxcar Bill or Boxcar Bob.
Yeah, and definitely Raging Bull themes through that montage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, all he does is throw punches and check on his bindle, and they show him slugging Homer a bunch of times, and then just pausing to look over at his bindle in the corner,
keep an eye on
and
it.
goes right back to it. Yeah, he's a young, hungry fighter. In fact, he's boxing for a sandwich. Mo tells him.
God, Mo plays dirtbags.
He's so good.
Perfect at any of these fish out of water roles where he has to be a slime ball because he's so good at it.
Yeah.
And and I don't think, Mo never has any big goals because he knows Homer's wildly limited as a boxer. Till Lucius Sweet hears about Homer's prowess and comes and visits Mo in his office. And Lucius Sweet is certainly supposed to be Don King.
Yeah.
Who, for the second time in this batch of episodes, is a celebrity that I was shocked was still alive. Don King is about 90 years old, and he is still with us.
Jesus.
Yeah, never. I thought he was like on death's door a decade ago, but hey, he's got a few more punches left, or a few more boxers to screw over.
To exploit, yeah.
I read a depressing article about him, like a kind of an interview / article about him still trying to do it, even though everyone was wise to his game, and he just had these low rate fighters, but he still had, literally 3 years ago, he probably had a heavyweight champion in his stable, and it's just like, man, it's over, dude.
Yeah.
Go live in your $1 billion house that you made off the broken bones of dim-witted young fighters.
Yeah, just the most exploitive piece of garbage.
Yep. Ugh. And what Lucius wants is he knows with Homer, whether they're struggling to find anyone that can last with Dredrick Tatum, who's about to be released from prison, who is supposed to be Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, man, with this Homer character, if he could just stay upright for 3 rounds, we could make a chunk of change. And Mo obviously knows, Jesus Christ, Dredrick Tatum would literally kill my friend Homer. But money talks, Mo's a piece of shit, so the deal is made. And, of course, Marge is very, very worried about this, and Homer is convinced by Mo that it'll work out fine because, again, Homer's a dum-dum, Mo's a terrible person, not a good combination. It's a lot like a lot of boxing.
Yeah.
Dumb fighter, shitbag manager.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his only other guy in his corner is Grandpa.
Yeah, Grandpa's on bucket duty.
Yeah. I do like too when the fight's about to begin. We get an appearance from Fan Guy, the giant fan taped to his back because that was around this time when Fan Guy fell into the ring of a giant like Holyfield Tyson boxing match.
Get the fuck out of here! Really?
Yep, that's
I
that's
didn't
all
know that
based
was
in
a
reality.
real guy.
Yep, he ate shit pretty hard, but I mean, he disrupted the biggest prize fight in America that year.
Holy shit! I gotta look that up.
Yep, it's good. I mean, it's quick, but it's good footage.
I thought this was just a plot device.
No, Fan Guy is real, and Homer is taking a vicious beating.
Because we've seen him get beat up this whole time, but it's just like it never actually does any damage.
Yep.
But Dredger
He's
Tatum
more like
is killing him
by the punches early on. He just like has like a dumbfounded look, but he is really taking it. He is not looking happy. He's very sad, very hurt. And what is it? He looks at the clock like, oh, like it's supposed to resemble there's 5 seconds left. He's like, oh man, we're only 5 seconds in.
Yeah, and he's supposed to somehow go 3 rounds with this man.
And Marge is screaming to get him out of there. And Mo, he knows if he doesn't play ball, he ain't gonna get anywhere in life. So he does what Mo does and just lets Homer continue to take an ass kicking until finally he can't take it anymore. Dredrick's about ready to lay him out. Who knows what that could mean for Homer? But out of nowhere, well, not out of nowhere, but here comes Mo, the guardian angel,
Yeah.
and stolen Fan Guy's fan, and whisks him away.
Yep, just swoops down and picks him up like an owl with a mouse. Just zip and gone.
Yeah, and Homer is beyond fucked up, but he's alive. He is very alive, and Marge and the kids are very happy about that. The boxing public is not happy about it, but
yeah, and he goes and they land out in the parking lot, and I love that Dredrick Tatum is like touched by that display, like and is like, Lucius, you do that for me, right? Yeah, sure, go get in the van. Like,
yeah, so good.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I like to. It's like, you made a big mistake, Mo. Like, you made a real big mistake. Here's your check for $100,000.
Yeah, get out of my face.
Yeah.
I love that Mo is like, I don't need your stinking money, and then folds it up and puts it in his pocket.
Yeah. Mo ain't turning down money. That's not Mo's style.
Also an appearance in that episode by someone I had kind of forgotten exists. Motherfucking Michael Buffer. Doing the
Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy.
Yeah.
I'd say like 96 to 2000 was definitely his time to shine.
Yeah, that was for sure. Like, he was doing the most boxing work and was on WCW Nitro every Monday.
Yep.
And then at the end of this episode, we just get like a nice soft compilation of Mo saving people with that fan.
Yeah.
Like,
I do like the fan man chasing after him.
I gotta look up this fucking real life fan man shit.
Yep. Oh, it's something, brother. He was a guy.
Yeah, that was an episode I knew of but had never seen, so I was pretty into that one.
It might have been the weakest of this 4, but that's not saying much, or that's saying a lot, because these 4 are very good.
Yeah, this was a banger of a batch, so.
I think that's 2 weeks in a row now where it's all killer, no filler.
Yeah, this might have been the first one where I didn't love the treehouse, where I was just like, okay, sure, this is fine.
I think it's a step back from the last couple, but I enjoyed them. But it's good to like, I think we've said this for the handful. It's the comedy is secondary when they're really good. Like some of these, like they weren't that funny, but I still enjoyed at least the first 2. I was kind of more into. Yeah,
I really liked the only one I really liked was the one where Lisa creates the little universe. That had a real Rick and Morty vibe to me, of like the episode where he has a whole universe living in his car battery. That reminded me of that episode. So
He's saying that Rick and Morty are lifting things from the goddamn Simpsons?
I don't know when or what season it occurs, but probably within the last 5 years, I suppose. The Justin Roiland and what's his name, Dan Harmon, do a guest spot. Once they get to the point of letting people guest animate the intro, and there's for sure one done by those guys.
Oh, no kidding.
From a few years back, so...
Oh.
Trying to think who else. I know fucking Banksy did one for The Simpsons.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm excited to start getting into those. I don't know when those start, but
Yep.
I think that's a cool idea.
That's like, speaking of Adult Swim shows, I was always a big Squidbillies fan.
Hell
and
yeah.
I like that eventually other people started doing the intro song.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, because I always like getting like weird versions of it. Like, there's some fucking just straight up like death metal one that I remember seeing watching Squidbillies.
And then there would be ones where it was Billy Joe Shaver singing it, but then it would be totally new lyrics. Which, Christ, some of those lyrics were good. There's one where he talks about shooting hairspray directly into your spine is a super cheap way to party if you don't mind killing brain cells in some time. And then he just grumbles at the end, try get that child support from me now.
Oh God, Squidbillies is one of those shows I always like but never love. Like, watch it if it's on, but never seek it out. In its peak, it was pretty high on my short list of favorite Adult Swim shows. Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm also a big Aqua Teen guy, and they're the same writing team from.
See, I was always a C-Lab guy, and not really an Aqua Teen guy.
Oh, so I loved them both, but yeah.
C-Lab and fucking Harvey Birdman.
Yeah. That original group of... Like, I love Brack Show. It's only 2 seasons, but God, the Brack Show was good.
Brack Show is good. There's a lot of those on HBO Max. I watched most of Harvey Birdman in a day a few weeks back.
Yeah. There's little bite-sized chunks with like 12, 13-minute episode. Who can't handle that? And
it is the year of the C-Lab because it's 2021. And
yeah, we're there.
I think we all need to celebrate C-Lab this year.
Yeah, holy. If you take nothing from what we're talking about, knock out all 4 seasons of C-Lab. You've earned it.
Yeah.
If you've listened to 31 episodes of us yammering, holy shit, treat yourself to some high-end quality. And that is, even when they lose the captain, that's fucking spoiler alert, you've had 17 years to catch up. I mean, it does take a step back, but there's some good Tornado Shakes episodes, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the first few episodes are a little rough before they started animating it themselves.
Mm-hmm. That early animation was real rough, yeah.
But God damn it, that's a good fucking show. If all you take from this Simpsons podcast is, hey, you should watch C-Lab 2021.
You should watch another animated comedy.
Oh, man. Yes, that should be the one that you take.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, God, it's a lot like Harvey Birdman. When it's good, there's so many good jokes. You miss them because you're laughing too hard.
Yeah.
To pay attention to everything because it just comes so fast. Like, ooh, comes so fast. Hey-oh.
Ladies.
Well, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Ruin those basketball shorts.
Nathan's still on the market, everybody.
Yep. Coming faster than ever.
Oh, that's 2 weeks in a row. You really have things to say.
Yeah, I don't have any I wish we could end this show on another hot take, but I don't got the spirit.
Buddy, I got fucking text messages about the ending of last week's show. It was all praise, you'll be happy to know.
Okay, I was just saying, are there people out there that can handle my realness? Because I think they better buckle up, because eventually seasonal depression, sadness, basement dwelling Nathan's going to burst out of his fucking shell. Then shit's going to get real weird. Wait till I'm around people again. I'm like Beetlejuice before he's been released. Jump into a TJ Maxx and holler, it's showtime. Put a shirt on, you fat fuck. Well, that's hurtful.
Well, now that's uncalled for. Name calling, guys.
Yeah, the TJ Maxx was better than this. I guess I was wrong. Is TJ Maxx one of those stores that sells you a shirt where one sleeve's like a foot longer than the other? Or am I kind of getting things mixed up? Is that kind of like, are they selling like goofed up shit?
I don't know. I've never been in a TJ Maxx.
Yeah, like I love like it's like, oh man, like here's a fucking, here's some irregular trousers, and here's the fucking chess set where all the pieces are carved to be like cast members of Dynasty. Like, just whatever we can get in the truck that week. Like I hope you guys like plums, because we're pushing plums hard this week.
We got a lot of plums on the truck this week, guys.
Oh my god, his hangers. Oh my god, you figure it out, Dennis. You figure it out.
Not my problem.
Just picturing some earnest, hardworking middle-aged man looking at a plum in one hand and a big wooden hanger in the other. Like, gotta be a way.
How am I gonna get this shoplifting tag stuck in here without ruining
those
it?
Big plastic things that used to come on CDs to deter shoplifting. Gotta get one on each plum.
Yeah, the little tiny plastic
That's what corporate
ladder.
says.
Yeah. Oh, Christ.
We need to move 10,000 units this week.
Oh, God. We got a big shipment coming next week of Mix Match shoes and macaroni cheese powder. So we got to get through these plums. We need the floor space.
There's panicked calls trying to convince your family to come buy plums.
Please, you gotta help us.
Goddamn right they're gonna go bad. These plums are shit. Deborah's pregnant. Gotta keep this job. How am I gonna keep my kids in irregular jeans?
Yeah, I guess the kids are eating plums this week. That's all I got.
We're eating them and we're wearing them. Teach my oldest to tan plum hides. Very delicate procedure.
Trying to build shoes out of the pits for the kids. We're using every part of the plum, kids.
The Native Americans. Snorting ground up plum pits off a toilet tank to take the edge off. There's arsenic and it's slowly killing you. I work at TG Maxx. How long do you think I want to live?
Yeah.
Someone is taking a shit in a changing stall. The door is wide open. They didn't even pretend to change into any clothes. They're just too lazy to go to the bathroom. Well, this is right here.
Close enough.
Holy fuck. That's had to have happened somewhere. I had a friend that worked at a 24-hour laundromat / tanning booth, and he said it was heartbreaking how many people would piss and shit in the garbage cans in the fucking
Jesus Christ.
And he said it was like I would be there all night. It's not like there'd be dozens of customers, so I would see who it is. Just like pretty young college girls would come in and not want to have to get dressed or whatever to go use the bathroom. So they just lay a log in the garbage can. I don't know. They just scoot across the fucking carpet like a sick dog because they don't put toilet paper in places they don't expect you to shit in.
That's true. Toilet paper is only where shitting happens.
It's just for the poo-poo. They shouldn't have to. Oh, man. You wouldn't think you'd have to put a sign up. Hey, don't shit here, please.
Ma'am, I can't believe I have to say this, but can you not shit here?
You know what? I don't want to toot my own horn, but I've been pretty good about making sure I shit in only shit-designated areys my adult life.
Attaboy. I'm proud
Can't say
of you.
the same about pissing. I'm pissing all over. You know, especially in the drinking days. I was a little bit of an exhibitionist when it came to peeing. I would often pee in garbage cans a foot away from an empty toilet.
What?
Just
What? Why?
Oh, God. Because I was a goddamn animal. I was 16 years old. Literally blinding myself from the amount of shit whiskey I'm drinking.
You used to be able to see colors, I'd imagine. Not
yeah,
anymore.
Probably it was.
So next week, we will do Season 8, episodes 4 through 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 of The Simpsons.
I'm going to pledge that I'm going to watch each of those episodes and be prepared for it. But I want us all to pledge as podcasters and podcastees. Let's virtually put our hands in the middle right now.
Okay, yep, here we go.
For the next week, the next 7 days, we're just going to go poo-poo and pee-pee in the toilet. Let's start the year off on the right foot. Let's get a little more civility back into the world.
Yeah, all right. I like this pre-game huddle we're having here.
You in, Marlin?
I'm in. I got my hand in the middle. I physically have my hand out.
Okay, I know it's talking tough now, but it's 3 a.m. That Gatorade jug is right beside the bed.
They're
gonna need you to get up and go into the bathroom.
You know what? I can say with 100% confidence that I can follow this.
Good. I'm about 60-40, but I think I got her.
Do we still have our hands in? This is getting awkward.
Yeah. Okay, go team.
There we go. Hey, okay.
Hey, we did it. Defense.
And if people make some time to watch some C-Lab in the meantime, too, you should also do that. Pretty sure that's on HBO Max, so...
There you go, yeah.
You should do that shit. That show's too good. All right, 4 through 8 for next week. We will see you then.
See you guys.